1970, 1970, 1970, 1970. Nací un día de junio del año 77, planeta Mercurio y el año de la serpiente. Signo patente tatuado y en mi frente que en el vientre de mi madre marcaba el paso siguiente. Nacer, llorar sin anestesia en la camilla. Mi padre solo dijo es Ana María. Sí sería el primer llanto que me probaría, que mandó las heridas y dándome la batería. Solía ser entonces como un libro abierto, pero leí la letra pequeña del texto, como un arquitecto construyendo cada efecto. Correcto, incorrecto, se aprende todo al respecto. Saber que algunas personas quieren el daño, subir peldaño toma tiempo, toma años. Con mi peluche mirando lo cotidiano, dibujos transformaban el invierno en gran verano. Papá me regaló bajo mi insistencia un juego que trataba de compartir la solvencia, pero en el patio hicieron la competencia. Fue cuando sentí mi primera impotencia. 1970, 1970, 1970, 1977. No me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. 1977. No me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. Mi adolescencia fue una etapa bizarra. El cuerpo es batería y la cabeza guitarra. La orquesta narra una tonada quebrada para la mirada de una niña que solo talla espada. Hormona disparada, sobrepobladas de información que cambian temporadas. Caminas encrucijada, cada cual en su morada preparaba la carnada. La sagrada diablada de mirada encabronada. Mi fila la verdad nunca buscó su silla. Mi búsqueda fue mero proceso de pura pila. Pupila de poeta que marcó nuestra saliva. En la cordillera que miraba la salida. La parada militar de paso monótono. Colores policromos, los uniformes de poco tono. De tono mi cuestionamiento, la voz y sonó, no. Mi primera rima que sonó y me enroló. Mi búsqueda no fue para mi cosa de escenario, fue algo necesario y que marcaba ya mi fallo. Así que tú hablas más de lo necesario. Fue cuando entendí que todos quieren ser corsario. 1970, 1970, 1970, 1977. No me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente. 1977. No me diga no, que no lo presiento. Todo lo que cambia lo hará diferente en el año que nació la serpiente.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Check this out, family. I'm gonna show you a couple of things, a couple of videos, and then I'm going to play a class. For you that are new, I've seen some recent subscribers, so all glory to our Father for that, man. As you know, this is not a channel that tries to generate money. It's just about learning and truth. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like it or not, whether it tastes good or not. You know what I'm saying? Scriptures are clearly. Scriptures are clear about bitter wisdom, and that's what has to be. That's what has to be taught. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna play some videos, and then I'm gonna continue with the topic. Tomorrow's class, I am gonna prepare for that one. To be honest with you, that's why I'm not gonna be really talking live. But yeah, this is basically the whole concept here. All right. These what's up? All will be revealed. Shalom, Al. What's up, bro? These Freemasons believe they are the sons of the light that will come to save mankind. When everything is in darkness, there will be the light bearers to shine the light. That's kind of like in that kind of realm. But now I do want to say this, man. I brought out this Boule thing in 2022. Okay, I brought it out, and there wasn't really much talk about that. But now it seems to be clear. So then let's continue with that vein and continue to push back. All right. So this guy here, I don't know where I think he's Egyptian, if I'm not mistaken, but he made something very clear, and I think it makes sense. I can see. I don't disagree with this man. Okay, let's in a way. Let's go.
Race and lineage are two different things. Racially, the black people that is supposed to have no history and no lineage are in reality Hamites. The true identity of Mandinka people, Ibu, Yoruba, Bantus are Hamites, children of Ham or Chem, including Phut, Canaan, Cush, and Misraim or Egypt. We, the nomads, which the Europeans refer to as Hamitic race, the Berber, Tuareg, Tubu, Fulani, Tutsi, Ethiopian, Somalis, etc. The nomads are the Semites, the people of the book, the Ahlul Kitab. The Hamites of Black Africa don't like Abrahamic religion at all. But we, the Semites, we are obsessed with Abrahamic religion because it is our forefathers. We teach Judaism, Orthodox Christianity, or Islam. The people of the so-called white race, the Arabs, Ashkenazi Jews, Europeans, they are not Semite or Hamite, they are Japhites.
Phase of European colonization. And notice that the countries that are most strongly in support of Israel are not just the United States. It's the United States, Australia, and Canada, the offshoots of England, Anglosphere sometimes called, unusual forms of imperialism. These are settler colonial societies. societies in which not like India, not like the British in India, say, societies, South Africa was a little like this, or Algeria under the French, settler colonial societies in which the settlers came in, essentially eliminated the native population, also driven by religious principles, very religious groups driven by Christian Zionism. Those are major cultural factors.
I'm actually finding that's a serious topic. A lot of them are saying, hey, it seems like you people here in the Americas were the ones actually benefiting from the slavery of some of the black folks over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that some black folks didn't get enslaved. No. Slavery is real. But that doesn't mean you're the people of the book. Okay? It's just very clear. Anyways, let's continue with that vein. All right. This is from that bro. He's, I guess, pulling up a lot of these things, which, hey, you know what? I'm gonna use. Hey, man, I'm not trying to make money from your material, so you know what I'm saying. But I will take advantage of it. Matter of fact, let me read that, bro. Let me read that for you. Isaiah 33:1, right? Let's see. Let me see what it says. Isaiah, I'm gonna try to reserve my energy for tomorrow. That's what I mean. Isaiah 33:1, it says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and was not spoiled. The dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Then thou shalt seize the spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." So let's summarize it. Our enemies are doomed. They have robbed and betrayed us. Although no one has robbed them or betrayed them, but their time to rob and betray will end. You see, it's like that whole concept that, we suffered so much. Oh my God. Oh, we were the people. We went through this. We went through that. But in reality, they were the ones enslaving as much or as bad as the gringo. So again, our enemies are doomed. Us, meaning they are saying this, right? They have robbed and betrayed, although no one has robbed them or betrayed them. But their time to rob and betray will end because they've been the robbers and betrayers. They're the ones that have been lying this whole time, trying to make it seem like it was only one particular nation and them as if they had nothing to do with this treachery. And they themselves will become victims of robbery and treachery. Lord, have mercy on us. That's for sure.
And the Boule boy come out and pacify.
And I think Eshan has proven himself to love the Most High. Now, whether or not you got problems with his hand sign, you should give the brother the benefit of the doubt. He has not promoted Freemasonry.
I'm showing you the highest degree of Freemasonry. It's nothing higher than this.
Can I just add to that real quick?
Sure.
I just want to add to that because
when I first met my wife, she's in college, I was a bum.
Because my whole life I've been taught that means I love you.
And y'all ain't seen the agenda yet. The truth staring in your face. Oh, don't judge. That's that Boule Negro.
We know about the hand sign thing. Some of the videos you got were old.
To get that shackle off your head, that Boule shackle that just see black and see nothing else.
This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game.
that means we can't afford our lifestyle. If y'all don't come through with something, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. You hear that? Do you guys hear that? Now, listen. You are this nation and you want to give yourselves money, man, by all means do it. I don't give a shit. But my gente, please, por favor, no sean pendejos, güeyes. Time to wake up, man.
Yeah. They hide in plain sight in the Hebrew Israelite community.
Continue.
We have just discovered that our pastor is a Mason. We are disturbed by this and would like your opinion about people who are supposedly serving and preaching the true and living word of God being in the Mason organization. So far in your broadcast, we have not heard Masons discussed.
Yes, I discussed Masons before, but I'll do it again. But got any Masons here?
Amen.
To my Masons that may be sitting here, why don't you tell your wife about the fun house? Why are you a Mason?
Amen.
Did God tell you to be a Mason?
No.
A Mason is a divine man of God.
That's it.
Who's given tools from heaven.
That's right.
To cut and shape the hearts of the world.
That's right.
And build a people for God.
So if you got a preacher,
amen,
who's a Mason,
that's right.
You got a false prophet.
That's right.
On himself. I'm bro. I'm blown away by the obviousness that we have here in front of us, and our gente, they're still stupid. They're still like stickly dumb. Seriously. Proverbs 6:13. Man, I like this one. They wink and make gestures to deceive you, all the while planning evil in their perverted minds, stirring up trouble everywhere. This is stirring up trouble everywhere. We know what kind of nation this is. I mean, shoot, even within themselves, they're stirring up trouble. Here, I'll show you. That's what we were talking about. Thank you, brother, for that. We are just mentioning right now how they're having the difficulty embracing their true history. You know, nobody told y'all. Listen, like when I first started doing these classes, I told people like, hey, look, man, what I'm gonna bring out, bro, most people are not gonna like me. Most people are gonna hate me for what I'm showing because I go hard. I don't do like half-ass effort on anything, man. If I'm going to be here and find out about some kind of history or whatever work it is that I do, I'm gonna do it full 100%. Okay, so I'm not gonna half-ass my shit at all. Excuse my language, but I'm just being real right now. And you know, when it came to this information, hell yeah, man, it was pretty heavy. Like I did not want to bring this out, to be honest with you, family. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. I don't want to be the one. I remember sitting in my car, man, when it hit me like a ton of bricks, like boom, it hit me. Like, whoa, this is that last seduction. Our people have no clue. They're walking right into this, man. They created a history to match the Bible. Everybody would believe it if it's based on that. Well, of course, shoot, we did. And that's why when I found this out, it was heavy duty, man. It was heavy duty. And typically, you know, you don't see so-called Hispanics bringing stuff out like this. We're not really outspoken like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was like another thing. That's why brothers didn't want to hear me. They're calling me a racist. I was like, no, man, this is what I find. First Maccabees 3:20. They come against us in much pride. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws, which is our heritage. That's what the Most High gave us, the understanding. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them. That's why, man. I was like, you know what? I got to do it. So let's listen into this real quick. I'm just going to show a little bit. I haven't actually seen it, man. So, you know, bear with me here. Brother, send it to me right now. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we look at a very interesting but sensitive topic, the history of African involvement in the slave trade. But before we get started, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to share your opinion on what you think about this video and this topic. Yes, historical records show that some African societies were involved in the slave trade, selling captives to European and Arab traders. However, it's essential to recognize the complexity of the transatlantic slave trade, which was driven and perpetuated primarily by European powers. Now, the involvement of certain African groups does not justify or excuse the extensive and brutal exploitation carried out by European colonizers. The historical debate surrounding African involvement in the transatlantic slave trade is a complex and multifaceted discussion. On one hand, there's evidence of some African societies participating in the capture and sale of fellow Africans to European and Arab traders. On the other hand, postulating that these actions were universally representative of all Africans simplifies a complex history. Furthermore, discussions also arise about the involvement of freed individuals of African descent who in some cases became slaveholders. Now, this debate requires a critical examination.
It says here on the bottom, so you guys can see, it says here, it says black people going hard on themselves. Black people owned and sold slaves debate. I told you it was going to hurt. I told you it was going to hurt. This pill of truth is not easy. You thought it was just going to be like, I'm just going to go ahead and dangle myself into this so-called kingdom. You guys don't see my lies. No, you got caught. And now ahora te estás limpiando, cabrón.
Acknowledging the diversity of experiences and roles played by various groups within the historical context of slavery. So check out these videos. I will be right back. And when I do, we talk more about this topic.
Can we talk about the argument about black people owning slaves too and why it's such an argument? I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little background of history. In the South, in the antebellum South, prior to the Civil War, around 8% of black people were freed. Oftentimes, those free people would buy slaves. The reason they were buying the slaves is because they were their family, their friends, their spouses. In most cases.
That's a lie.
Okay. And the reason they couldn't free a lot of them is because of taxation. They did not want to get taxed. You get taxed at a higher rate as a freedman than you did as a slave. Okay. So that means that they were keeping them as slaves, not because they were using them as actual slaves, but because taxes and the money, it was money. Now, let's talk about how many black people were actual slave owners, which was about 2% of the population of blacks in the South at the time. And let's say some of those slave owners.
Scripture, the way it's actually, it says Isaiah 3:12 from the Septuagint. O my people, your exactors strip you, and extortioners rule over you. O my people, they that pronounce you blessed lead you astray and pervert the path of your feet. Oh, we're the same people, but we're Judah. Let's sit back and shut the hell up. No. On contraire, mon frères, all you stupid camps now, you got some answers. You got some questions that you need to answer. And don't go around saying, Sakari, there was only one conquistador. That's dumb.
Were run-of-the-mill, like the slave owners we are familiar with, aka owners, in which they used other black people as free labor and treated them as livestock. As black people say, not all skin folk is kinfolk. Does that still make slavery okay? Is that because I don't understand why it's a gotcha that black people owned slaves, because it's still wrong. It's still slavery. And so let's talk about post-slavery. Those black slave owners, like all black people in the South, were subject to segregation. So that means that the legacy of slavery also led to the legacy of segregation, which lasted well into the 1960s. Just for frame of reference, both my parents remember segregation. And I was born 11 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1965. And I was born 6 miles from a sundown town that did not integrate well into the 1990s. So the legacy of slavery is vast and long.
Black Africans from their homes and forced them into labor. But we rarely ever talk about the part that Black Africans themselves had to play within this notorious historical event. Slavery was an ancient practice within Africa, but on an extremely small scale. People who purchased slaves did so in
of years, as far back as you can trace human history. And what we're looking at is if slavery is something that happened to one race of people in one country, when in fact the spread of it was around the world. In 1776, which is when Adam Smith published The Wealth of Nations, as well as when the United States got started, he said that Western Europe is the only place in the world where there is no slavery.
For slavery, they took no accountability, love beyond color.
Hi, I'm Christine, founder of UNI.com. What is UNI.com?
Number one, just because he's been miseducated about the African resistance to slavery, don't make it true. Number two, this particular obscuring of history glosses over how African leaders like the King of Congo wrote a letter to the King of Portugal telling him to stop slavery. Number three, that's important because like it says right here, this letter contradicts the story that African kings sold their own into slavery has been retold by the countless times in history books. Moreover, this also shows that similar to Queen Nzinga's stance against the slavery, a century later, she fought almost 40 years against Portuguese for the freedom of her people. Number four, King Alfonso of Congo literally converted to Catholicism in order to try to earn his humanity of not only him, but also his people. In his letter he wrote, each day the traitors are our people, children of this country, sons of our nobles and vassals, even people of our own family. This corruption and depravity are so widespread that our land is entirely depopulated.
Damn, they were doing it to their own families. Wow, wow, man, that's crazy, bro. Woo. Psalms 10:3, for the wicked boasted of their heart's desire and blessed the covetous. Yes, that's why they give these people money. You're being told lies. I know it feels good. It sounds good to be the people of the book. But you're now merchandise of your own gente. They lied to you guys. And this is why, when I found this out, it's like, wait a minute. You can't be the slaver and the slave and say you're the people of the Bible. That is not possible. You can't be so-called Southern Kingdom and rule Europe while Northern Kingdom, so-called, is not. Makes no sense. Psalms 10:3, for the wicked boasted in their heart's desire and blessed the covetous, whom Yahoo abhorreth. It's what these wobbles do all day. That's very, very true. Very true, man. First Maccabees 5:32, he said unto his host, fight this day for your brethren. Thank you, bro. That's true, man. I mean, that's why I'm still here, man. That's why I'm still pushing. Because when I found this, I didn't know how to go about it. So let's go.
Anyone that got in mind to be right, you got to surrender.
Oh, yes.
You got to come out the Masonic Hall.
Come out. Come out. Come out.
Prestige ain't worth trash.
No.
To be a Mason, you got to roll up one pants leg, tear the shirt over your heart, and they bring you in the room with a bunch of fools.
Yeah.
They tell you got to bring food to feed a goat, and ain't no goat to feed.
Yeah.
Blindfold you. Then a bunch of men making a bunch of noise and hitting you. First they put marbles out. White marbles and a black marble. If you get a black marble, you're blackballed.
Right.
Can't be one. Get white marbles, you can be one. You get at a certain level of masonry, you get rid of the Bible.
My Lord.
And pick up the Quran.
My Lord.
You got to take a vow of secrecy. That you never expose the craft. And if you expose the craft, you agree to have your tongue cut out or snatched out and your heart cut out.
My Lord.
I expose all the craft I want. I dare you to lay a hand on me.
That's right.
I dare you to do it, and I want you to do it.
That's right.
I'm a very easy man to find.
Amen.
You see, I'm a real Mason.
You see what he said?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
It ain't got nothing to do with Herman.
No.
It ain't got nothing to do with some cheap lion's paw.
No, no.
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 I'm a real Mason.
That's right.
This is too deep for the Masonic Hall.
It's too deep for them.
Every true man of God is a real Mason.
That's right.
He's a craftsman.
Craftsman.
He's a layer of divine brick.
That's right.
He worked for a master builder.
Go ahead.
For the book says one is your master.
One is your master.
Even Christ.
That's right.
Peter called the church and said, you as lively stones.
That's right.
So the preacher are giving tools.
Yes.
He's giving a hammer that breaks rocks in pieces.
Oh, yeah.
His wisdom is a divine chisel.
Go ahead.
That cut and carves women and shape men.
Go ahead.
To be the people of God.
That's it. Go ahead.
He used a plumb line
Go ahead.
in the midst of his building.
Go ahead, brother.
God is his architect.
That's right.
See, let me show you something, family. IUIC does exactly this right here. They present the women, single ones, like line them up and shit. It's not even of the scriptures. It's called debutante. Look it up.
Architect.
That's right.
This is bigger than Solomon's temple.
Oh, yes.
Solomon's temple fell apart.
That's right.
God's temple is eternal.
That's right. In the heavens. Go ahead, brother.
I'm a divine mason.
Oh, yes.
I'm a divine builder. I was given an axe, and God says, laid at the roots.
Laid at the roots.
I was given a hammer.
Yeah.
Break rocks in pieces, meaning it breaks the stubborn of the world.
That's right.
Breaks your stubborn mind.
That's it.
You see, you got to fall on this stone.
Yes.
Which would mean submit to hardness.
That's it.
Submit to discipline. Submit to rough preaching.
Rough preaching.
Then you'll be broken.
That's right.
But if you fall on the stone, or the stone fall on you,
it's going to
grind you to powder.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
So Masons don't know what the Masonic is.
No.
You talk about a scale, a compass. Do you know what direction God come from?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
God said, I come from Teman. How can he come from somewhere where he is everywhere?
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
He said, God come from Teman.
Go ahead.
The Holy One
from
Mount Paran.
Yeah.
From his mouth cometh a two-edged sword.
That's right.
And his eyes is as a flame of fire. From his hands goeth forth horns.
Go ahead.
And when he walk upon the waters.
Go ahead.
You think a Mason is wearing white gloves?
White gloves.
And a little miniaturized apron?
That's right.
You don't know what it is.
No.
A Mason is a divine man of God.
That's it.
Who's given tools from heaven.
That's right.
That cut and shape the hearts of the world.
That's right.
And
you guys are following, right? I know this is something heavy for a lot of you guys. You that have been around this channel, coming through, calling it a show, calling me a racist, calling me a conquistador, saying I'm causing division. All of you guys, in every single camp, at least that I've had some so-called dealings with, chatter-wise, y'all call me these names left and right. And you want to know something? I'm still here. And what I've been showing is coming to fruition. So you determine who the messengers are of the Most High. I've never lied. All I did was just told y'all the truth, and I ended up having people hate me for this.
build up people for God.
Amen. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
A lion's paw? Nah.
Oh, no.
It's the lion
Go ahead.
of the tribe
Judah.
Of Judah.
Oh, yes.
And the root of David.
That's it. That's it.
You build it on.
So even in their stupid Christianity mentality, they still think they're fucking. Oh man, y'all are just so corrupt in your spirit. I kind of feel sad. It just is what it is. Let's continue.
Solomon? That's weak.
That's weak.
One that is sweat. The scripture says, one greater than Solomon
is here.
Is here.
That's right.
Solomon ain't no good.
Oh, no.
One greater than Solomon.
It's here.
Masonry. I'm a divine masonry.
Every house is built by some man.
Do you hear this?
In Hebrews chapter 3 and at verse 4.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Every house is built by some man.
Is built by some man.
But he that built all things.
He that built everything.
Is God.
No, it's Solomon.
Is God.
Herman McBliff.
Is God. Amen.
Our God is God.
That's right. That's right.
So Solomon was limited.
Oh, yeah.
Not only that, he ran out of his wits.
Yes, he did.
For women.
For women.
Solomon, before he died, his heart turned against God.
Turned against God.
And he became polytheistic.
Yes, he did.
An idolater.
That's right.
The true architect, the true designer of people is God.
It's God. That's right.
So all these lodges and all that stuff won't prevail.
No.
You throw on black suits, white shirt, and black tie and feel important. But then you die.
That's
and a bunch of men come in marching.
That's right.
Just marching. Looking like a bunch of stooges.
That's right.
Huh?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
March forward and slide back. Everybody's doing the curly. And then they ring a little bell over you.
Yeah.
Say a few words.
Say some words.
But you died.
Prince Hall Masonry was founded in 1776, family, or 1770 something. So let's remind you who you are. Sorry about that. I hope you guys can hear me. What I'm trying to do is get a reminder. Remind us again as to like what's going on, because we keep hearing, and even our own people, man, like they're literally pushing this agenda, and we gotta like nip it in the butt. You know what I mean? It has to be a reminder, because the struggle is sincere about our people. We've gone through struggle and we're still going through it. Okay, so all we're saying is, if it's the right doctrine, if you guys are really the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, then make it make sense, because none of it matches. So let me continue, so then I can remind ourselves too, because I'm sure we're getting really, really dug deep with all these other so-called Hebrew black onlys. You guys are Mongols. You guys aren't the Hebrews. You see, you don't see no famous people saying you guys are Hebrews. Well, I kind of find that interesting that the media is now involved. You think that the so-called white man who is in power right now, right, is going to allow this just because they play chess with y'all while you guys are playing checkers? They're playing chess. So this here is the seal that the scriptures talk about. The biggest lie that anybody could have concocted, where you create a slave trade that didn't happen the way that we've been told for hundreds of years. Not hundreds, for about maybe the last 130 years. All right, let's continue.
What I'm going to do is this, man. I'm going to compare apples to apples. We have people saying that we are who, well, they're telling us that we are them. They're not saying that they are us. They're not saying that we are one people. They're saying that we are them, that we used to look and be like them. Okay. So, and that we have the same struggles that they have had since 1492. So if that's the case, you may be able to suggest that to other people that don't know their history. But we're going to find out today if that is actually true, okay? If our curses compared to their curses, so-called, okay? And has it been happening since 1492? Because that's the question. All the way from 1492, 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, and then as of today, okay? Reflect on all of those things as we go through the class, and you guys compare apples to apples. Are we the same people? Have we been suffering as long as you guys supposedly have, or have you suffered as much as we have? That's the question today. So without further delay, let me go ahead and shut up and start the class. All right. So first things first. This is interesting. This is from a dictionary app that I have. It's a Webster's dictionary from 1828. Okay. So obviously words definitions change as society or whoever is in power changes. So listen to this. Swarthy. Being of a dark hue or dark complexion, tawny in warm climate, the complexion of men is universally swarthy or black. Then it says this: the Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthy than the French, Germans, and English. Let me read that again. The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthy than the French, Germans, and English. Meaning what? The Spaniards, Italians are black, like the Moors, and the French and Germans are basically brown, dark brown, right? But the other guys are black. So it begs to now we have to ask ourselves this question. Did they look like this in 1492? Okay. I got a video about this person here. Caught my attention, and it relates to my class. So interesting. Listen, I'm gonna let this play. There is a word called boule. So let me actually explain it now, so then we can just skip all of that. Boule is an ancient Greece word. It means, well, it was representing over 500 citizens, which were part of a council appointed to run daily affairs of the city. Okay, so these guys consider themselves high and mighty. Okay, remember this, man. Remember this. Okay, we went through slavery. Supposedly the same thing, the same suffering, and we progress about the same. That's what we're being told. Well, let's find out. All right, let's begin. It's gonna be 1, 2. I'm gonna skip a couple, and then I'll start basically, continuing to show my things. All right, here we go. Oh, almost forgot. My bad, man. My bad. Oh, almost forgot. All right, Bible Chronicles. Okay, disclaimer. Content copyright. Disclaimer. This content does not belong. Excuse me. Let me move that up. No. It's not what I want. Stupid computer. Hold on a second, guys. This is acting funny. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Anyways, this content does not belong to Bible Chronicles, nor does Bible Chronicles claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles does not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of to harvest any financial gain. However, due under Title 17 of United States copyright law, states material in use can only be done when it's for theological, scholastic, and general educational purposes. And thus, Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law. Okay, here we go.
Hey, guys, pay attention to how light-skinned some of these men are, and they're considered black, right? They fall under that category. When we see them today, they are looking white, man, and they're considered black. So every single person you see in these pictures, they're considered black. Their fathers supposedly are black, okay? I want y'all to pay attention. Because remember how the black-only Hebrew Israelites tell us, well, what you guys mix with the other nations. Huh. Well, how funny. A lot of you guys were looking white. So I beg to one question. Do a lot of black people are white and a lot of white people are black? It gets deep.
At this point, it should go without saying, Prince Hall Freemasonry and Sigma Pi Phi are not the same in connection or principle. Firstly, Boule members are almost always college educated, a prerequisite not required to be a member of Prince Hall. These educated Boule members are most likely graduates or postgraduates who are recognized as men who have outclassed their peers as professionals within a certain branch of expertise.
Look at the men on the bottom. See the men on the bottom? They're considered black. We see them today, and they would be considered white. A lot of these light skin. Look. Let's look. So now we need to really know who we're dealing with. Look at this man. He looks Hispanic, just very tanned. Now we're getting real scary here. So you so-called Hebrews of so-called Latino descent and so-called Hispanic descent and so-called black descent, y'all need to start wondering who you really are. This is not just about fringes, guys. It ain't just about being Percepticons. Anybody can memorize scripture if you study it so much. But the actual work is looking at you and yourself, and none of y'all are doing that. That's what I can tell. Because you're still doing Passovers. You're going to clubs. You're admitting it. Strip clubs, regular clubs, because you're heterosexuals. You have multiple wives. That's what you guys teach. Yet the Messiah said, it wasn't like that before. Originally, it was Adam and Eve. Adam didn't have Eves. What exactly is it that you're trying to teach? Are you trying to teach for sincere building or lucre and sexual desires and lust? Let's keep it real, man. Let's go.
College education is not a requirement for membership into Prince Hall or any other branches of Freemasonry for that matter, whose tenets are most essentially being male, having belief in a supreme being, as well as the ability to handle financial obligations of the society.
And that's what I mean, okay? So pay attention to that too. Excuse me, sorry. I had ice in my mouth. Pay attention to that. The statements that are being made. Okay. Remember, we're doing a comparable. We're gonna go back to 1492. But because I want to get through this class. So, anyways, here we go.
Although Boule members can be Prince Hall members and vice versa, they play different roles within the structure of Black society.
All right, so let me go ahead and fast forward this real quick so you guys have an idea of what they're saying so far. Here's a little more of who these people are. And again, I'm saying this and I'm sharing this because, again, these guys are apparently representing the so-called Black people. Okay, you'll see. All right.
I know that the Boule is typically a closed social group that I would characterize maybe somewhat secretive. How did they react to you exposing them, discussing their being and their principles in your book?
Okay, Sigma Pi Phi Boule, which was founded at the turn of the century, was founded as a secret organization. It actually
Turn of the century is at the end of 1800 into
Almost all of them, if not maybe this guy and that guy, look white. They're the founders. These are black men. Oh, a Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. This is before 1900, when we still didn't have the Bible. Hey, I'm having issues on sound. Give me a second, all right? Hold on. It's probably gonna be a few minutes, man. I don't know if you guys gonna. Anyways, just letting you know, okay? Just give me a second. Yeah, let me do this. Hold on a second, family. Let me. I gotta switch this around. All right, here we go. Anyways, watch what he says. This is what caught my attention. Obviously, this guy knows. Hold on. I don't know what. My bad. My apologies, guys. I don't know why I did that. Go back.
Born partis sequiter ventrum.
Okay. So here we see a picture of people being sold. They don't look like they're being sold. They have, look, you can see the commonality between them. Look, he's even bending down to speak to her. There's no need for that when you got power. You don't have to bend down. You talk down to them. But this woman is being sold, and she looks like who? Yeah, our hermanas, our mothers. Yep. And who's this guy right here? Don't miss. He's black, right? And he's selling her. I mean, that's what I see. I don't know what you guys see. These are all white men, supposedly. But then you look further in, and they're not bright white, you know? Look at her skin and look at their skin. That has to trigger you guys with the thought, man. Why is their skin almost the same as theirs? And then look at these women. Why is that erased? But these are shown. They're not showing these guys. Anyways, watch what he says.
That which is brought forth follows the womb, meaning the legal status of a child born of an enslaved Indian woman will always remain enslaved. This law gave planters and free white men in general carte blanche authority to impregnate captured women without having to so much as even claim responsibility for their mixed race children. Just as common, these children were sold on the mulatto maid market as house niggas for an added sticker price as compared to their darker skinned counterparts.
So just to let y'all know that that term was first placed upon our people, okay? And that's confirmed. So it's an unfortunate term, you know what I'm saying? But it unfortunately belonged to us. Okay. So anyways, let's continue. It unfortunately belonged to us first.
In this aspect, Virginia colonial law was totally contradictory to English common law, which states that a child's status follows the father. Of course, this law extending from the earlier Virginia codes was designed this way to assure.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. Planters. He calls them planters, right? He calls them. Yeah, I caught that. All praises, man. You caught that. All praises. There you go. Let's continue.
Legalized rape of indigenous women without consequence, and naturally the perpetuation of slavery through a duplicitous modification of English common law.
If you listen to him, what he's standing on a ground that it was the white man that did it. Okay, we'll see. It was only the white man, and then there's these black children. They were not our people, but then he mentions that the only people that were being sold as slaves, in a sense, where you can actually rape them, and then through the slave owner's children, it's not hers necessarily. If you believe in the Bible, then they go into slavery. So they were enslaving their own children.
Children born of a white mother and black father were considered free.
Remember that. Children born of a white mother and a white father were considered free in this particular year of 1600. Remember, he's mentioning the topic of partis sequitur ventrum. Okay, just remember that. So in this time, if you're black and you had a child with a white woman, that black child was not a slave. We were told the other way. This is coming from a so-called educated black man who is, I'm assuming, he's part of this masonry. I'm assuming, I don't know, man. But, you know, again, this is his material. I don't claim it. YouTube, that's him. I don't profit from this, so please don't block me. But anyways, I appreciate the information, though. I really do. It helps us out to know who you guys are.
And we're counted among free people of color.
So then at that point, it says we're counted upon free people of color, meaning that this was happening often, right? In order for them free people of color to be free, they would have to have been through a mother that was white, correct? That's my understanding.
White men were freely allowed to abandon or kill their children without recourse.
Again, that's an opinion because there's no facts to say that. But if you look at a nation historically, the spirit doesn't change. Which nation of people are actually doing that? You got to ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? We can't be naive, and we cannot be emotional, sensitive, or even so-called empathetic. I'm tired of that, because all I ever see is our gente being stepped on. That's like that song from Kid Frost. It says, "Hey, I'm getting tired of these vatos getting over la raza." You know, that's deep in my spirit, man. Because as I've mentioned before, at least I know, since the so-called white man and the so-called black man have been in this continent, nothing has been the same for our people, especially our lovely, beautiful women, our mothers. And I mean that like in a mother sense. I don't mean that in a sexual sense, because I have respect for our sisters. That's a Hebrew thing, by the way, in case somebody don't understand that.
Solidifying their position as the first deadbeat dads in American history.
Who's actually manifesting that? I'm just asking, you know what I'm saying? Because we went through slavery, and it's not something that we typically practice as so-called Hispanics for the most part. I know we have a few deadbeat losers, good portion, but for the most part, that's not who we are. Then or now.
To the point that many of the most notable so-called black men in history, like Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, never even knew who their white fathers were. But in some cases, the white father actually did remain in their child's life, but used their whiteness to accelerate the social status of their mixed children.
So, see, it says that in some cases, and then they would use their status to elevate their children. And we continue to see that. But why isn't he saying anything about them? They were black men having children with white women, and those children were free. Remember that, okay?
One such example of...
Let's skip this. I'm gonna go to let me see here, because I just want to get through this. Oh, here it goes right here. Give me a second. I think it's right here.
And Prince all Freemason made it in instance, all of us Negroes were the privileged children of white slave masters.
So they say, okay?
All of a sudden turned champion for black rights. The air of insincerity permeated this bunch. With all this being said, there were some who made it into politics without completely alienating themselves from the average person, seen as privileged or elite. Who weren't seen as privileged or elite.
Mother Bethel AME Church, founded on ground purchased by Richard Allen in 1791. This congregation is the mother church of the African Methodist Episcopal denomination. The present structure, erected in 1889, replaced three earlier churches on this. Okay, you guys read that. It's telling you something.
For most so-called Negroes, an elite education or even a college education was out of the question, unless you could pass for white. And this complexional complication coupled with education represented the foundational differences between a Prince Hall Mason and a Boule during the early 20th century. The Prince Hall faction, along with their Baptist and Methodist leadership within the church, recruited more of the common man into their ranks.
This is a very old picture. Okay, look at how they dressed. That has to be in the 1600s, 1700s.
Few and far between men who ascended into politics were more the exception than.
Yeah, he should. And it's very interesting how he references so-called black folks but doesn't say it in that sense. He uses words like planters. Yeah, this is why I said Prince Hall. Yeah, for sure. These guys are, man. When I heard this guy talk and I knew I did a research on them, I knew that he's onto something, and they're revealing some things at the same time, tricking our people, making it seem as if, yeah, you guys struggled and suffered. No, man. After the Civil War is when all the problems began for the so-called black man. That's why when you see a lot of anti-slavery movies, it's always after the Civil War. Only a few you see that it's related to some kind of like Amistad, but those guys were supposedly African. But then you see the movie, there's black men that are free. So you got to wonder, again, guys, this isn't hate. This is real grown men and women talk. The things that were going through our minds that we question. If you guys are our gente, not a problem. Prove it. And so far, y'all are doing pretty well for yourselves while we are not. And you'll see as the class goes on, again, we're comparing manzanas a manzanas, apples to apples. Are we the same people? Because if we are, then all praises to the Most High. Let's go and fight for the struggle. But if we're not, then we need to know who our enemies truly are. That's all I'm saying, guys. I think that's a fair statement and a fair question. Grown men have grown questions. We're not children.
Rule. During these times, barbering was a trade that provided opportunities for black men to facilitate respectable positions within their communities. In some cases, developing clienteles with wealthy men, which led to other work for family and friends.
Let's skip this real quick. Let me get to this point. Uh, 18. There's some stuff I'd like to show you, but nah, I'm kind of want to get through this. Listen, guys. Remember, we're doing a comparable, okay? We're doing a comparable to see if our struggles have been very similar, because they say that we're tied to the hip because the tribe chart said so. Okay, let's find out. Pay attention to these pictures. They're trying to tell us something. Until I hear a riding on his saxophone. Or could you call on Lady Day? Could you call on John Coltrane? Now, cause they'll watch your troubles away. Remember this picture. Look at the fur. That's buffalo fur. These guys are buffalo. They were buffalo soldiers between 1870 and 1876. And that's around the time where the Buffalo Massacre happened. Those are facts. I'm not saying anything. I'm just comparing the timeline. That's called debutante, okay? In case for some of y'all that don't know, that's what it is. And that's something that the French did. And these are the French. And I've showed you guys pictures of this. And whether you guys believe me or not, it's up to you. The French were black, were black, because now that you see a lot of white folks, but a lot of them are actually black. And a lot of you black folks are actually white. This is the funny part. Because the mixing didn't just happen with black on white in regards to men and women. It happened both ways. Look, you see this? This is a picture of men and women, right? But don't you think, what, you think he's going to be like not interested? Come on, man. See this? Look at how they dress. This is not in the 1900s, guys. This is like in the 1600s, okay? The pilgrims. This is how the pilgrims dressed. And look at you guys. You're in the back. Look, having a conversation. Look, you even have fancy glasses. That's your French guy. He's not white. He's black. Okay? Boy, those guys back there, those guys aren't black people. They look kind of white. That's what debutante. And basically it's just like elitists or people that introduce themselves like, okay, this is so-and-so, he's so-and-so and so-and-so. It's kind of like what they do in the IOIC camps. That, you know what? That's actually, I didn't think of that. You guys do the exact same thing, debutante concept. And that's not in the Bible. Where does the Bible say that you're supposed to do that? Present themselves as like steak and meat. That is technically debutante concept. And then you tell the so-called Hispanics not to burst a piñata on just because they want to celebrate it because it's a heathen custom. And you guys are doing a heathen custom too, if you're not them.
Hey, you know, I forgot, and I was gonna do a class on this too. What about quinceañeras? Quinceañeras is basically the same thing. You present the daughter as a young woman ready for, you know, that's actually a French thing. I'm gonna do a class on it because, and as I compared them, I'm like, wow, man, that was pretty heavy. And I'm glad that it was reminded because this was something I was thinking about yesterday, I believe, about maybe, I don't know, early in the morning, man. Anyhow, let me continue.
As mentioned earlier, the forced migration of slaves in the Upper South is a tale untold.
Now, this is what they say, okay? But if you look at timeline, it begs to differ. He says that
Slavery and forced
I'm trying to
migration.
fast forward it. So he says these people were pushed forward in slavery and this and that, right? Why are these guys painted white anyways? I'm just curious. Remember they said First Maccabees 3:48. The heathen changed the image. Why are you guys taking off this color? Why not leave it? I don't listen. I don't know how this picture is, to be quite frank. I just find it awkward. Okay. So, anyways, this guy's saying that this was slavery and forced migration in the antebellum South. Antebellum. Here, let me do this just so you guys can find out. Antebellum period. So antebellum basically means, like it says, before the war. Okay, refers to the years of the war, development, blah 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 blah. There was a lot of this going on, supposedly with blacks, right, being enslaved, but I don't know, man. They look like they're really trying. I mean, I'm just saying, you know. I see our people busting our butts in the field, bro. Anyways, I'm not here to like make comments about that. I wasn't really necessarily trying to show you guys this picture, but antebellum period is it's just like a history of the South period before the war, supposedly. Okay. In reality, look, I'm just going to tell you what it is. You guys can find out on your own. Antebellum is just when the so-called blacks and the so-called black man, the so-called white black woman had it good way prior to antebellum. Okay. But again, you guys could consider that my opinion. So let's continue. He's showing this stuff here.
Importers.
He's saying that they were pushed down. But here's what I want to show you.
207 rooms to more than 500.
So they were all pushed from the north to the south, okay? They called them domestic slave trade. Between 1808 and 1865, remember that year, those years, 1808 and 1865, all of a sudden now they're being pushed down, okay? Remember that.
1800 to all.
So I think at this point, I think this is all what we need to see. Because, yeah, I think this is all we need to see. Perfect. Okay, good. All right, let's move on from this. Let me take this off here. All right, I'm gonna change the video now because we're gonna watch a different one. And give me a second. Let me at least set it up.
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second here. Give me a second, guys. All right. Person, and I want to do this. This is. Nah, you know what? Nah, I'll show it later. Okay, so anyways, here's what they're saying. Okay. So we heard all of that. And then now we're hearing that the so-called Judah ruled Europe. Okay, Black Africans who ruled Europe between 711 AD, 1789 AD, and that's true. Historically, I know that the African Phoenicians have been trying to conquer that area for quite some time. They finally did it in around 700 AD. Okay. All right. So now let's pay attention that these guys are 480 circa Germany. Remember they said that the Germans and the French are swarthy, and the Spanish and Italians are more swarthy, meaning more black. Well, this guy's black. This guy, literally 1740 circa, 1520 circa. Look at this guy, right? 1599. So it means it was painted around that time. 1524, 1589, 1500. Look, check this out. This guy. This is why I was curious about that law. Remember that law that talked about partus, what is it called? Partus sequetum ventrum. It was in 1662, colonial, right? British owned these lands, and they passed that law. Well, look at this. This guy is an actual king of England. He was a prince of England, son of King James. He was a king of England, English, Scottish, and Irish. So his father, who was alive at that time in the 1600s, was the one that had to pass that law. These guys are not kings because they applied to, because they applied for a job. It's passed down from parents. So since you guys are saying that this black man passed that law, I mean, that's what I'm finding. It says upon the death of the father, 1701, he was recognized as king. Succeeded the son Charles. All right, so obviously lineage passes through. All right, so he passed that law in 1662 to rape our sisters. Based on what I'm finding, that law that didn't bother to pass the law against black people. No, the law that said if you have a child with that native woman, right, that what they call nigger, okay, then that child could be a slave, whether that child would be from a black father or a white father. Those are facts. You guys are saying you rule Russia. You guys are saying you rule Europe. I'm only showing what you guys showed us. You know what I mean? I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. That's more of a newer picture, I think, which is actually a nice picture, to be quite frank with you, man. I like the color scheme. Anyways, and listen, guys, I make comments like that because I appreciate history, man. I can sit back and actually look at it. I know exactly what happened to our people, but I have undeniable faith in the Most High that he will, like Wisdom of Solomon 18, vengeance upon the enemy. So no sweat. As long as we keep teaching our brothers and sisters who we are according to the Bible, man, that's what's being commanded of us. All right, we just got to stick to the script, guys. Remember, man, just stick to the script, dude. Focus on the end. The end is what matters. All right, not now. We'll get our chance. Anyways, so that's who that guy is. And then I find this interesting. This is from, matter of fact, here, I'll just put it here because it keeps popping on this window. This is from a book called Africa's Gift to America. Okay. And watch what these guys say. I'm not saying it. They're saying it. This is written in 1880. What page is that? 58. Africa's Gift to America. All right, page 58. Let me go to that now. It's an interesting book. It's a really interesting book, to be quite frank with you. A lot of history, and then a lot of it is actually I say this in connection with what I have. This right here, well, that's not my topic, so I don't care. But if you can see, I mean, these are slaves, basically. They're selling slave women, white women. They were selling white women. That's what they were doing. But that's not my topic. It's part of it. Look at first American slave, page 59, I believe. Okay, 58. My bad. Strong documentary proof that the first Africans in America were not slaves, and that chattel slavery of them did not start until about 1659 or 1682. Remember the Partum Sequetu Ventrum, the black king who passed that law in 1662? Well, that's why. Okay. So after that law is when so-called black people were being enslaved. Well, it was black people who were enslaving their children, and white people who were, I guess, enslaving their children too, because they were just using our sister's funnel for your pleasures. Russell, in this chapter, Origin of the Free Negro Class, calls a brief that the first Negroes were slaves, a popular error maintained and supported by a large number of writers. The evidence clearly points to the customary indentured for Virginia. Archive shows that throughout the indentured, it's very true. Watch this. Throughout the that's right. They did it to me last time. Give me a second. Who's this way? That throughout the second quarter, throughout the second quarter of the 17th century, Negroes were being released at the end of their period of indenture. Look up the book Virginia, the Old Dominion. Okay, I have it, but I haven't looked through it, so I didn't want to bother. Let's say the common belief that all Negroes brought to Virginia in the early period were slaves is an error. Virginia's first century. It says judicial cases concerning American slavery and the Negro. They're talking about one particular person that I guess she was a slave, Lady Yardy. They didn't want to pay a slave, and they were forced to pay the slave. In 1661 occurs the first reference of the state in Virginia to Negroes and the inequality of slaves. You guys can find all this stuff out, okay? Watch this real quick. I wasn't able to download it on my page for whatever reason. It was giving me a hard time, but I have it on my Facebook account, and I'm gonna show you guys what I have. Okay, let's see. I think this is it. No, that's not it. Oh, I think it is. My bad. This is from a book called This is from a book called "Let the Blood That the Blood Stay Pure." Page 67. The year 1619 has been earmarked as the earliest date of arrival for Negroes to the English colony. Yet they accompanied Spanish North American expeditions almost as a century before the English arrived in Virginia. That means, but in 1492, there were black folks coming with the so-called white people too, right, to destroy our people and take our lands. There's also evidence that they cohabited with the Aborigines in the early 17th century. So here's exactly where the hijacking begins. So let me just share something with you, so-called Aboriginals, okay? What this guy's actually saying is that you African people came here first when they came here, okay? Both of y'all, basically, it took both of you guys to take us down, okay? And then after that happened, a lot of you Africans stayed here, and you were mixing with our sisters, which then became the concept of Aborigines. Exactly that, all right? So, but anyways, you're not going to believe me, so it doesn't matter. Let me continue. In 1603, 7 Negroes escaped St. Augustine, with some maintaining their freedom and marrying Indian women. Franciscans found Negroes. Now, these Franciscans, what? They weren't white, because watch what he says. Franciscans found Negroes, meaning the Africans, and Indians, our sisters, or maybe some of our men, cohabiting together in Florida, and repeatedly admonished the Aborigines that it was an unclean thing to keep Negro mistresses, meaning what? That the Africans shouldn't be mixing with the natives because it was unclean. They looked at us like pigs, like swine. That's exactly what the statement is. I don't know what other interpretation you want me to give you. This is from a book that they, meaning the other camps, actually no, the one camp, which is IOIC, loves to bring this book out, man. And you know, I find it so interesting because they love to bring this book out, but they don't show you guys everything of this book. Watch. They only read this part. This is from the a treatise on physical geography. They love to hide it. This is the funny part. They like to hide books, but you know what, guys? Whether you show it or not, the price goes up or down. And you want to know why I know this? Because I buy books. I collect books. I buy them. Okay, I buy them, and I've been lucky and fortunate to buy some books at like $100 that are cost like $1,000 now. All right. So don't tell me that, oh, all of a sudden you shared it. And no, nobody ever shared the book I got, and that thing's costing expensive. So don't believe the hype, man. All they want to do is make it seem like, oh, they're so secretive. Watch this. The Jews are people who ever, according to, they read this and like, look, they're black, brother. They're black, brother. But yeah, the page before, watch what the page before says. The rapidity with which the color changes is seen in the English colonies of North America. It is not 250 years since the very first colonists arrived in Britain, and much shorter time since the ancestors of most of the present New Englanders across the ocean. And yet they have lost the clear complexion of their kindred beyond the waters and acquired much of the hue of the southern French and northern Spaniards. Remember this. Remember that? The more Spaniards, Italians are more swarthy than the French. Here it's saying that they acquired much of the hue of the southern French and northern Spaniards, meaning dark or brown, so that if an assemblage of each nation were placed side by side, there could be no difficulty whatever is distinguishing them by their complexion. Now watch this. With respect to the intermixture with the Indians, we know as a matter of fact that it never took place. Why? Because those children were considered slaves. The Aborigines of America are another instance. I explained that already. Why? Because they were Africans. They never wanted to mix with our people, and if they did, they sure as hell did not have any respect. I'm just reading to you guys what I'm finding. Now, if I make statements, I have the right to make the statement because obviously I study this, so I have a little more knowledge to sit back on what I mean. It says here, Judaic scholar Paul Wessler, however, maintains that the majority of the Sephardic Jews was of North African Berber origin and converted to Judaism sometime before 711 CE. I don't know about that. Anyways, for normal, they actually, explained as a form of North African Gothic. That was you guys. That's why when you see Gothic and it's black, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You guys need to know your history, man. Why you guys have a Latino telling y'all, or so-called Latino, telling you guys your history? I mean, quite frankly, look, man. It's I don't know. Anyways, watch this. Puerto Rico located Caribbeans. You guys can read this too. Tainos established themselves in Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah. Natives were forced into servitude and hunted down and killed, resulting in the devastating collapse of the local population. It's basically saying that a lot of the so-called Caribbeans, Puerto Ricans, Islanders, you guys have a lot of African blood in you. A lot of it. And that's why you have a lot of surnames like this, because they were converso moriscos. They were Sephardic or Moorish Jews, a lot of them. So a lot of people in Puerto Rico are Phoenician Canaanites. Wow. That's a heavy thing. But you know what, guys? We know already in Mexico that in South America and Central that there's a lot of Edomites. They look just like us. Put your emotions aside, whoever's listening to this, okay? See, that's the best part about living in that where I come from. We already know that people that look like us were the ones taking advantage of us, just like the white man. And you'll see it in the video I'm going to show you. Anyways, let me go ahead and show you guys one more thing here. Watch this. This is interesting. Where are you? Let me see. Show you guys this. So they say, right? And like the other material that we found, that the slave trade or none of that was really happening. Because look, in 1630, almost 80,000 people left England. And who was ruling England? A black man. Left England, Chesapeake, and New England, and the Caribbeans, most of them indentured servants. This is from, again, White Cargo. You guys can get the book. 1,200 newcomers. Those guys died because they couldn't handle it. Our people killed them, and also there's a story behind it. These guys they didn't know how to field or anything, and apparently they were just too lazy and expected our people to feed them. Our people said, "Hell no!" They left them to be. These guys ended up eating each other. They weren't white, and if they were, they weren't only white. Let's see. Chapter 7 is what he's talking about. But look at this. Watch this. There were several people: new plantations, indentured servitude, British colonialism. Watch this. Were people, both men and women, who had been forcibly transported, which is because they wanted to get rid of their dirty, criminals, and free willers who had voluntarily mortgaged their freedom, right? Basically, 200 men, women, and children from the British Isles would have been transplanted to British America. The vast majority of these British colonies would be indentured servants. Black people, indentured servants, okay? Unless you want to say they're white people, but then that goes against your doctrine, One West, so you're going to have to swallow this pill. The second episode occurred within a year. Large group of indentured servants from, well, you can see it. And then these guys were Puritans. Oh, man. The Puritans were the ones that gave our native brothers and sisters the turkey. So was it white people then? Yeah, the rabbit hole gets deeper. 1634, total number of servant ships from Britain, 790 males. Total was this. English convicts arrived in 1642. You see that? Worked on the new sugar crops. So basically, a lot of these convicts were also convicted, right? Like here, if you commit a crime, they go and they send you to some jails where you're actually doing this. So some of these black people were convicts and they were serving their time. So if you see those guys being treated like crap, well, they're convicts. Don't they do that now here? Let's see what else. Okay, I think you guys get the point. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to close this and make a mistake. So now, let me show you guys this real quick. I thought I had the but let me see. Let me see the. I think this is it. So in this book, watch what it's called. Free Negro owners of slaves in 1830. Okay. So it's showing you guys that black people did have slaves, and it was recorded even up to 1830. From 1650 to 1850 is when there was a lot of slavery going on. And as you know, that from what we see, the partus equitum was more applicable towards our sisters. And the black people were mostly indentured servants because their family members were the ones helping them out. There's something called right start, I think, head right, something like that. You have let's say you have you want to purchase land, and I have a family member, and I'm here and you're over there in Europe. I would then say he wants to come here as an indentured servant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that bill as a consideration. That's a word that they use in Black's Law. I'm going to use that bill as a consideration to purchase this land. He is in a sense, his down payment, because that indentured servant is going to work that land or help him work that land, right? And he gets an acre. So for every indentured servant, you get an acreage. It's a head right program, something like that. Anyways, you see this here? All these names are not white people. And by the way, these last names that so-called white people said, so-called black people said that they went through slavery, that's a lie. They already had these last names. And this is facts. Look, all these guys, the slaves, they're not black. And if they are, it's their children. I know, that's the sad part. A lot of them are our people, but a lot of them are their children. You know what I'm saying? Because if they trap our people, they enslave them. If they trap our women, they enslave them and force upon them. And through them, They basically have children, and they look at our children or their children as litter. Now, you so-called well, you Indian people, you black folks, you're Phoenician blacks that think that you're natives and all that crap, and like, oh yeah, look at me, I got feathers. Well, listen, dummies. No Latino and no native will ever turn their back on their child, even if it was from another nation. That is something that I know for a fact we don't do. Any Hispanic or Latino will attest to that. I have a daughter. She's 19. It would hurt me so much to even think that I would do that. Don't you think that would be a test in my faith? Of course it would. But that's not something that we do. Okay? That's a fact. So if these sisters get raped by you and they take this child, black child, with them, they teach them their ways because your ways didn't work. And so that's why you guys have feathers and you have customs and you look black. Know your history. Why does the Hispanic have to tell you guys? I thought you guys make fun of Northern Kingdom all the time. Hey, Northern Kingdom, you guys better Judah's getting tired of helping you guys out. Okay, well, listen, I'm not getting tired of it, by the way. I'll never get tired. I'm just going to show you all the truth. Negroes, meaning black people, right, own slaves too. Blacks own slaves too. Blacks and whites own slaves too. Not just white people. Look, y'all own slaves all over. So what I wonder is, why does this guy say this?
That the blacks who were colonized and enslaved are indeed the 12 tribes of Israel, according to the biblical text. There's the 12 tribes enslaved and enslaved are indeed blacks who were colonized, blacks who were colonized, blacks who were colonized and enslaved are indeed the 12 tribes of Israel, according to the biblical text. There's no biblical text that can prove the Jews in the Bible were Caucasians or are Caucasian.
And no, at least where we stand, we don't believe that either.
There's no biblical text that says or proves Jesus Christ is a Caucasian or white man. All the biblical texts prove that Christ is black, Moses was black, the Apostle Paul was black, and the 12 tribes of Israel are 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 black.
So he says that the people that were enslaved were the 12 tribes of Israel, and they says that they are black. Okay, that's what he says. All right, we're gonna look at this real quick. This is from let's see if I have it here. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to find history. Here it goes, right here. This is a book called Golden Age. Okay, by Ivan Sertima. Ivan Sertima is a so-called African. Okay. Listen to what he says himself. It says here, for all Negroes are black Moors, page 331, I believe. For all Negroes are black Moors, for all the Negroes or black Moors are descendants of Cush, the son of Ham, who was the son of Noah. But whatever difference there is between the Negroes and the Tani Moors, it is a fact that they are all of the same ancestry. This Leo Africanus is a black man. Okay, so there's two things I want to mention. First of all, he was actually born in Granada. Okay, so he was there when he makes this comment. And the whole thing about some African white man name in Africa, that's a lie. He was an Afriki. So I can't remember his name. But this guy, Leo Africanus, he would let a white man name him when you guys are in power? Come on, man. Come on. Then it says here, again, but Dr. Chancellor Williams hits the nail on the head once and for all when he's asked the question. Now, again, just who are the Moors? Who were the Moors? The answer is very easy. The original Moors, like the original Egyptians, were black Africans. As amalgamation became more and more widespread, only the Berber Arabs and coloreds in the Moroccan territories were called Moors, while the darkest and black-skinned Africans were called Blackamoor. Eventually, black was dropped from the Blackamoor, meaning Moor, in North Africa and Morocco in particular. All Muslim Arabs, mixed breeds, and Berbers have readily regarded as Moors. The African blacks, having had even this name taken from them, must contend for their recognition as Moors. You see that? Now, this guy, Leo Africanus, okay? So you're going to tell me, Nate, you're going to tell me that you know more than him? This guy was born there, okay? This is from his book called The Geographical History of Africa. So I don't hide stuff. And there's no need for it, because you know what? You can either get it in archive, or you can either buy it, or you just can't buy it. It's that simple. If it's meant for you to have, it's meant for you to have. It says here, for all the Negroes are black Moors. Okay, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. All which opinions and reports are to be understood only of the original of the Tani people, that is to say, of the Nubians and barbarians. For all the Negroes or blackamoors take the descent from Cush, the son of Cam or Ham, who was the son of Noah. But whatsoever difference between the Negroes and the Tani Moors, certain it is that they had all one beginning. For the Negroes are descendants of the Philistines, and the Philistines of the Mesraims, and the son of Cush. But the Tani Moors fetched their pedigree from Sabians, and evident that Saba was begotten of Ramah, which was the eldest son of Cush. Listen to this. Diverse other opinions there be as touching this matter. Okay, watch what he means by that. Meaning that there's a list of things he stands behind on, which because they seem not so necessary, right? So we saw it, and we realized that they're not valid. We have purposely omitted. So because it's not valid, we don't agree with it. So we took it off. This man was born in that time. Let me see if I can get the page. Look, written in Arabic and Italian by Ion Leo Moore, born in Granada, brought up in Barbie. This man was there, okay? And this crest is a crest that does not mean what you guys think it means. 1600. So you know more than this guy? Watch this here real quick. It says here, Judaic scholar Paul Wexler, however, maintains that the majority of Sephardic Jews of North Africa, Berber origin, converted to Judaism. I read that, I believe. My bad. Let's see. Okay, now another thing. I'm going to show you guys this too. They're saying that, we suffered together and we're the same people. Look, I'm gonna brush through this real quick. This guy here, Louis Wetzel, you guys got to get this book, right? It's called The Great West, containing narratives of the most important, interesting events. So this guy, Louis Wetzel, among the earliest times, he was, let's see. Louis Wetzel perhaps was the most indefatigable, can't read that, indefatigable Indian hunter of the frontier. His complexion was dark and swarthy, as in Indians, and his face pitted with smallpox, so he looked like us. His hair, of which he was very careful, reached and combed out to the calves of his legs. See, that's why you guys put those damn feathers on and act like you're our people, because you were already mixing way before. And these guys here, the so-called blacks, Africans, they were killing our people. Look at his sons. At the Wetzel grew up Ben Frontier Boys. Here, watch out. You guys can't see that. They grew large enough to handle rifle, considered themselves such, and took a solemn oath never to make peace with the Indians. Y'all can read that yourselves. Watch. Yeah, well, you guys can see it. This is from another guy. This demon, man. God, you mad, man. You guys. Right here. James Beckwood also married Indian women, sometimes in dazzling rapid succession. Flame-tempered and loved to battle. They called him Cow Crow and Blackfoot, okay? The greatest Indian fighter of his generation. He was not an Indian. He was a black trapper. He was a black trapper, or a trapper as a black man. black slave with Native American heritage, and his wife. This is funny. Beckwood was born in 1788 to a black slave with Native American lineage and her white master. So we see this. The only way this would happen is if a black person had children with that Native woman, had then this Berkworth, and he was a what? Servant to this woman, this master, right? That's what it seems like. Or else, how else would he know about Native? So this sister of ours didn't want to put her back against him. Of course, I mean, turn her back on him. Especially at that time, they were going through destruction. She didn't understand. The Bible wasn't with us. Oh, by the way, we haven't had the Bible since 1492 at this point too. Then it says here, look at this demon. Indian wives, it says here, on trails he fought or made friends with Native American Blackfeet, Sac, snakes, and crows. His Indian wives inevitably were loyalty. Wives. Chief, sounds like one West, multiple wives. Once again, he said Beckwood did some good. You guys can read this book. I guess he's like, look, when he had asked this woman to dance, and he refused on the wedding night. So then he clobbers her with an axe. Then he turns and tells the father they must maintain discipline. And then so they give her a new wife, and then that other one he whips on, comes back, and then I guess he has sex with both of them and he leaves. You guys might think it's funny, you so-called black men. They might be laughing, man, but you're gonna pay for all this. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, man. Enjoy your time now. You can see this, man, and this guy's he's just a plain traitor. Because what ends up happening here is this guy, Shevington, right, tells him, hey, come with me. I need to destroy these Indians. But he doesn't want to go at first. He threatened him, so he saddles up. Then when you see this, he saw people shot dead as they held up their hands. Read the page. It explains it himself. So what do our people do? They feed his ass, excuse my language, and then poison him. That's what he deserves. And you guys probably don't know what that means, but that's basically you can even see it in the with the narcos, man. You don't do that. You're a traitor. I mean, come on, bro. Seriously. And this guy's glorified. Look, in the Mississippi, glorified for killing our people. And then remember about the Buffalo Soldiers? What a coincidence. Between 1870 and 1876, they were here. And then the slaughter of the buffalo is around that time. Yeah, they show pictures of this white kid. Look at that. The Buffalo Massacre. And remember this here? They're very proud of it, man. Proud legacy of the Buffalo Soldiers. Why they call them Buffalo Soldiers? There's no need to call somebody a Buffalo Soldier. Why? Wouldn't you be calling them a Indian soldier or Indian fighter? Buffalo Soldiers regiment were commanded by whites, and African American troops often faced extremely residual. Yeah, right. Whatever. Let me see, man. Maybe it's time to bring some scriptures. Yeah, let me read something. By the way, I have this Bible called Scriptures. The Institute for Scripture Search is who's publishing it, and I want to read it this time or today. So if you guys don't mind, I'm not going to be really showing them. I'll only show the ones that are in the Apocrypha on the computer. Okay, so follow me, guys. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. Okay, and it reads, "The sojourner who is among you rises higher and higher above you, but you come down lower and lower." Okay, verse 44. "He lends to you, but you do not lend to him. He is the head, you are the tail." You hear that? He is the head, you are the tail. Let me read you guys something in Malachi, which I found rather interesting. Give me a second, because this Bible is kind of upside down in a sense, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner, because it's just put together different. So it says again, he is the head and you are the tail. Malachi 2:3, and it reads, therefore, thus say Yahweh, see, against this clan I am planning evil, from which you do not remove your necks nor walk proudly, for this is a time of evil. Okay, this is the time of evil. All right, remember that, guys. So now let's go to Hosea chapter 9 and verse 13 and 14, and it reads, I have seen Ephraim like Tyre, planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring out his children to the killer. Listen, verse 14. Give them, O Yahweh, give what? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. Verse 15. All their evil is in Gilgal, for there I have hated them because of the evil of their deeds. I drive them from my house. No more do I love them, for other rulers are rebels. Ephraim has been stricken, their root has dried up, they yield no fruit. Even if they bear children, I shall put to death the precious ones of their womb. Okay, so this happened to obviously our children and as well as their children. All right, let me show you guys this real quick. I think I have that. I think I have it. And actually, you know what? I wasn't able to load it up. Let me see if I could read it from here real quick. Give me a second, guys. This is from that the blood stay pure. Okay, page 70. It reads, many American Indians imported to or exported from the colonies were listed as Negroes. Let me read it again. Many American Indians imported to or exported from colonies were listed as Negroes. Approximately 69 Indians were included among a list of Negroes brought to Virginia from North Carolina from 1710 to 1718. Okay, then it says, the number of the studies have shown that many slaves of probable or stated American Indian ancestry imported into this colony from Campeche, Jamaica, Honduras, the Carolinas, and Virginia were listed as Negroes. People of Indian or part Indian ancestry were listed as Negroes well into the colonial and antebellum period. As 1786 runaway slaves advertisement for an East Indian Negro man called Jean, a slave born, demonstrates the broad use term Negro in Virginia. The Negro was not synonymous with African. Okay, that's why you have this term. And you silly Negro doves. Yes, I'm calling you that. You African silly Negro doves. And as a matter of fact, all of you guys, because quite frankly, you're missing the point. You're completely missing the point. Look what this means. Look what I'm going to show y'all something. Watch. The Negro term, okay? This was in 1854. It was a law. It says the word black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro does not include all black persons. Oh, here's that. Remember, it says that a white woman can have a child with a black man and he won't be a slave, right? Well, just same goes for the white man. If he has a child with a black woman of African descent or Phoenician descent, that child won't be a slave. Only if that child was of a native, or if you slept with a. Actually, that's an interesting point. If you were a father Indian and you were, I don't think y'all were really mixing with black women. I don't think y'all would let it. And if they did, it was basically by chance. Not a lot of stories are heard about that. But then again, that's something that that would have to be explored. So now, again, all of these things are occurring, right? Why all of a sudden conclude all that? Well, for voting purposes, guys. Trust me, it's all about power. Think about their whole history, okay? In 1829, no, man, I'm just gonna leave this over here because it keeps popping over here. Let me move this over out of the way. Let me close this. 1829, there were some riots. All right, some black folks were mad at white people, and I think it has to do with a lot of outvoting. They were moving into their areas, and white folks were getting tired of being outvoted. Man, y'all were outvoting them 5-1 at that time. Okay, and anyways, you guys were basically considering advocate for equality and civil rights. Okay, But at the same time, that same following year, you guys ordered the Indian Removal Act, 1830. And if you guys recall, between 1808 and 1865, what that guy said is they were migrating down from north to south, right? I wonder why. And you look at these things. These are the images of the debutantes. Okay. So as you guys are progressing and having these banquets and parties and gathering together for so-called equality for the brown people, no, you were looking for equality just for yourself. I have this here. I don't know what I got this for. Oh, Color Convention Project recognizes humanity. See, in the 1900s, in 1830, the Negro Convention movement. I'm not lying. But at the same time, you know, we're going through Indian Removal Act of 1830. Okay. Now, let me show you guys this one more thing. This is interesting. This is what caught my attention out of all of this, man. Let's go back. A second. These guys, right? Remember I said earlier, that guy looks black. That's a Phoenician trait, by the way, based on what I have in the records and documents and books. You guys were mixing with white people already, so a lot of you guys have dark skin and gray eyes or light color eyes. So all of you guys that have that trait, you guys need to check your DNA. This guy, that's what caught my attention. I was wondering about that. Maybe he's really mixed, but if he was really mixed, maybe he looked like that. But this guy, these two guys do not look like these guys. Remember the books that I read, Sephardic and Morse came? Okay. So we do know, I have some material that shows the material that they like to use, the treaties of all that, the treaties, the one I read, it actually shows that they were so-called white Jews and black Jews and brown Jews, right? But they don't like to share that. So anyways, watch what he says. Oh, wait. As a matter of fact,
Hey, family, real quick. Regarding the chatting and all that, this Bor Rasta. Listen, you're on this chat, man, and it's all good if you're listening. But for the rest of you brothers and sisters that are here to actually learn, don't bother with these chats. If anybody starts going crazy, I'm gonna block y'all. And I don't know why somebody would post something regarding like any sexual things or anything. If y'all do that, man, I'm gonna block it again. Again, this isn't a channel regarding education. In this channel, if you're emotional, you might as well like just change it. If you don't believe in facts, then if you believe in alternative facts, then you need to go to another channel. This is not entertainment. This is not entertainment. Listen, I don't get super chats. I don't require money. That's the scriptures for the real true Israelite or the true Hebrews should not cost you a damn thing. Even the Messiah said it himself. Give that to what is to Caesar, meaning money. Why would, and then I'll tell you one last just side point, guys. If you guys who are from camps are here listening, whatever, or if you guys are part of a camp, tell your camp to distribute the funds that they make because they sell merchandise, they make money. And the scripture said that all Israel was equal regarding in possessions or substance. I don't see them distributing anything. It's all profitable. If you guys want to keep it real, let's keep it real. There's a way to take arms, and it right now is this institution, in this society, in this system. I don't know if it's a good idea to be giving men money because we've shown it's just clear they're not transparent and they don't follow it all to the T. You take it, you need to distribute. Oh, you Israelites that are part of these camps, you should definitely, okay? Tell them, listen, the scripture says that we should be distributing all the income that you receive evenly. I wonder why not? Anyways, let's continue, man. I'll shut up and just continue with the topic. All right, let me let this dude talk.
all right, hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. There's two things that I want to touch on. Okay. Let me go back to my page. Give me a second. Okay. Two things I want to touch on now that I have the topic. I don't want to go back and forth with it. Okay. Watch. First, I'm going to have this there. Okay. Now watch this.
They forced us to convert to Christianity, this new form of Christianity, wherein they were God, they were Christ. Okay.
I'm going to repeat it so we can see, okay?
Okay. The angels were light, and that the Jews who had converted, the white man who had converted to being a Jew, they also had to, they were on top of us. This white man that we had used from the Caucasus Mountains to help us in our military, they also turned against us.
That looks like the Immaculate Conception. Virgin Mary. Black Madonna with Christ in the middle. This is them. Look at the cross. That's not a white person. The whole Madonna, Virgin Mary. You know, it's funny because you guys always say, oh, the Virgin Maria, that's devil worship. But then you show Russian icons and you show these pictures. It's pretty stupid, to be quite frank with you. I don't know any other way to say it. Look, watch this, okay?
They forced us to...
And again, this is not my content. All right? YouTube is not my content. This is theirs. I'm only using it for educational purposes.
Convert to Christianity, this new form of Christianity, wherein they were God, they were Christ. Okay? The angels were light, and that the Jews who had converted, the white man who had converted to being a Jew, they also had to, they were on top of us.
So here's my point. All right? So this is my point. Another one. Watch this real quick. Watch what he says, which really caught my attention.
This white man that we had used from the Caucasus Mountains to help us in our military, they also turned against us. Never trust your enemies, brothers and sisters. We said, these are our allies. And the very same allies turned against us. So again, this white man that we had used...
See, that's what's weird, because I look at this picture and he says that allies. When has Idumea been an ally like that where you can trust him? And by the way, this statement doesn't sound historical. Its statement sounds like it's pretty recent.
Used from the Caucasus Mountains.
Remember the other brother, the other guy about the whole Mason concept? I'm not saying that any of these guys are. I'm just saying, ironically, they make comments, and if you pay attention, they expose themselves.
Help us in our military, they also turned against us. Never trust your enemies, brothers and sisters. We said, these are our allies. And the very same allies turned against us. So again,
that's what really was weird to me, that he would say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that he would say something like that. You know, because based on the, colors and all that, I mean, the pictures, it basically speaks 1,000 words. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Let's go back to the Bible. All right, I'm going to go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms real quick. Psalms 49. Give me a second. We're going to go back to this Bible. I'm going to read this one, and then I'll read the King James as well. Psalms 49, verse 4, and it reads, I inclined my ear to a parable. I expounded my riddle on the lyre. Okay. Verse 11. The inner thoughts are their houses. The inner thoughts are their houses forever. Their dwelling places to all their generations. They call their lands after their own names. Understand that? This is basically what they're trying to achieve, guys. They ain't trying to help us, man. Not from what I'm finding. You know what I'm saying? Psalm 64, verse 3. Who sharpened their tongue like a sword and aimed their arrows a bitter word, to shoot an ambush at someone blameless. Okay. Verse 5. They armed themselves with an evil sword. They talk of hiding snares. They have said, who sees them? Was he not over there in Africa saying all of that? Is he not saying they were our allies who sees us? Is he not giving us a hint? I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, man. I'm just looking at what people are saying. Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. And it reads, never trust thine enemy, for like as Ryan rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, though he humble himself and go crouching. Yeah, brother, we're the same people. Look at this. We're the 12 tribes, bro. Yeah. Take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as thou had wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. So that's just saying, be careful, be mindful, because if you realize who he is, you're gonna basically clean that window, that glass, right? And you're gonna see right through the fact that his rust hasn't left him. Okay, so verse 16. Let me go to it real quick. Verse 16. And an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee in the pit. He will weep his eyes. Yeah, brother, we're the 12 tribes. We're Hispanics here in America. But if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Okay, verse 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there, and though he'll pretend to help thee, shall he undermine thee. Here's the point. He shall make his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Which one is it?
It's that the blacks who were colonized and enslaved are indeed the 12 tribes of Israel, according to the biblical text. There's no biblical text that can prove the Jews in the Bible were Caucasians or are Caucasians. There's no biblical text that says or proves Jesus Christ is a Caucasian or white man. All the biblical texts prove that Christ is black, Moses was black, the Apostle Paul was black, and the 12 tribes of Israel are black. The Apostle Paul was black.
He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance.
And the 12 tribes of Israel are black.
I don't know what to tell you, brothers. You know what I mean? Let me get through this, man. I got a class to show y'all. Let's move on from this. Here. This is from the storm that swept Mexico. Again, copyright disclaimer. This content did not belong to me, YouTube. Okay, please don't block me. I'm not making any money off of this. By the way, just in case, if they do start giving me a warning, I'm gonna move the video over, so then they don't block me. Because, man, YouTube, I don't know, man. I'm a little. This is like a little smart channel, man, and YouTube's messing with me so much that I can't even believe they even got their time to waste on me. But anyway, just giving you a heads up. All right, let it play.
In 1876.
My apologies.
In 1876, reeling from nearly a century of conflict, Mexico elects Porfirio Diaz president.
So now let's compare what we've been through. Okay?
For more than 30 years, he will rule Mexico with an iron fist in what will become known as the Porfiriato. To some, he is the benevolent father, the peacemaker, but to others, the traitor, the man who gave Mexico away to the foreigners.
The Porfiriato is in some ways the beginning of that peculiar relationship between Mexico and the United States. The Porfiristas believed, given the economic thinking of that time, that the way to move ahead was to open the gates to foreign investment. Mexico was right next to the United States, so Mexico was largely an economic colony of the United States by 1900.
You guys hear that?
We were an economic state by 1900. There were already Sigma Pi Phi and all these things, institutions. What else? They had Black Wall Street. They had banks. They had a lot more, and they also had the Americas. Remember, after 1848? Okay. Again, apples to apples. All we're doing is we're just comparing to see if we are the same people, if our struggles are the same, and if the period and timeline doesn't differ. Because if it differs, then the scriptures may have to be in question now. Let's continue.
The center of power during the Porfiriato is Mexico City. Here, Diaz surrounds himself by a group of technocrats known as the Científicos. This circle of power controls much of the nation's wealth, with little regard for anyone outside their circle.
The Científicos were the people who implemented his economic policies. These were the people who wrote the legislation for the passage of laws. These were the people who put together the contracts between the Mexican government and foreign companies and so on. They were elitist. Some of them were racist. That is, they believed in the notion that the biggest problem that Mexico faced was its backward Indian population.
Backward Indian population. Here, I just thought up a scripture. My bad. It wasn't part of it. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse, I believe it's 36. Watch this. Yahweh, it says, Yahweh brings you and the sovereign whom you set over you to a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you shall serve other mighty ones, wood and stone. I read this because as we see these Científicos didn't give a damn about our people. So were they our people? The Spirit bear witness. Let me move forward to right here.
Bueno, fundamentalmente durante el Porfiriato, la expresión artística siempre estuvo viendo, o sea, con los ojos hacia Europa. Esto nos hace ver que siempre México, no obstante de ser un país que se ha independizado, que está buscando su identidad, sigue con los ojos puestos siempre en Europa.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. It reads, Yahweh shall strike you with madness and blindness and bewilderment of the heart or mind. Madness. The madness of you guys. You want to be like the other nations, the other heathens that enslaved our people, right? Blind to the fact that you don't know who you are because you're listening to this garbage of the past and even now. And it says here, and you shall be groping at noon as a blind man gropeth in darkness. It's daylight, guys, and you have no clue who you are according to the Bible, and not prosper in your ways. Have we prospered since 1492? And you shall be only oppressed, plundered all days with no one to save you. You know damn well that's been happening to us since 1492 and even till this day. Our children are separated at the border. You don't think I have the same fear? Oh, yeah, I got family members that go through the same thing. Same damn thing. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. An ox knoweth his owner, and a donkey his master's crib. Israel does not know, my people have not understood. Why? Because you're looking upon the eyes of Europe. Really? The same people that enslaved us?
Modernidad de las urbes. Por otra parte, tenemos a todo este pueblo.
Listen, I didn't bring any rivals up for those guys because honestly, I was just showing who they are. But you guys are our people, our gente. I know what struggle we've been through. So you damn right I'm going to bring scriptures out because that Bible belongs to us. 500 years since we haven't had it. And they were introduced to white man as God. Now all of a sudden, in the last 20 years, supposedly we are Hebrews. And another nation tells us, and they bring another image. About 20 years ago, nobody wanted to be a native. Nobody wanted to be an Aboriginal. No, man. When hip-hop was strong, when NWA was strong, nobody cared about the so-called Hispanic heritage
or Native Indian heritage? Nobody. We were spics, beaners, wetbags, and then, dumb Indians that are in reservations, that are a bunch of alcoholics, and you guys, whatever, you get free money. How is it fair? That's what we hear. Okay, so all of a sudden now, they care for this heritage. Like, now we have all of this agenda. Y'all got to pay attention, man. I've read to y'all, brothers and sisters, a book on propaganda. I'll read it again today once I'm kind of done with my majority of my notes. I'm almost done. Remember, I was doing a comparable. And for the brother that says, oh, knowledge, every information, everything, and that's in Romans, by the way, okay? What was written aforetime was written for our learning. Through patience of the scripture, we might have hope. Okay? So, obviously, you cannot learn the Bible, nor can you study the Bible, nor can you understand the Bible without historical facts. If you believe only by DNA or Bible, and then you don't actually look at the historical facts, then I don't know I can't help you. You got to look at everything. Historical facts. If you care for DNA, sure, why not? Do it. But at the end of the day, the Bible holds precedent to everything. And we have proven it, that we fit all the scriptures. We fit all the curses. Our food matches. Our clothing matches. Our culture matches. Our ways match. And, I mean, literally, we are still being told nothing about who we are. But yet you have the so-called white man, the so-called black man, propagandizing yay or ye or whatever his name is. And then some basketball player. Y'all have it so good. Where's your struggle? Where is your struggle? All I'm saying is, hey, because whenever our people, our gente is getting shot, dying, because that's the class that I'm having in the evening today. I had to do this class. It was a spiritual thing. But the class in the evening is exactly that. While we hear all this news about everything else, guess what? Our sisters are getting shot, killed, murdered, and raped. Let's continue.
A este pueblo campesino que está marginado, que no se le atiende, en donde se va a encontrar el descontento.
Porfirio Diaz was a strong ruler, and he held Mexico.
Look at that picture right there, right? They're all drinking and having a blast at the expenses of our people. Isaiah 56, verse 9. Again, I don't know if they are people or not, but I'm going to read it anyways, because if they are, man, may the Lord have mercy on you. Verse 9, Isaiah 56, verse 9. All you beasts of the field come to devour, and you beasts in the forest. Verse 10, it reads, his watchmen are blind. All of them have not known, just like Deuteronomy 28:28. All of them are dumb dogs, unable to bark, dreaming, lying down, loving to slumber. Are these guys not slumbering? Right? And the dogs have a strong appetite. They never have enough. They are shepherds. They have not known understanding. And they are shepherds, meaning these guys are supposed to be our leaders. And look what they're doing. They have not known understanding. We haven't had the Bible in 500. I mean, even in this time, the Bible was prohibited. All of them look to their own ways, everyone for his own gain, for their own end, saying, come, let me bring wine and fill ourselves with strong drink. And tomorrow shall be as today, even much greater. Is he not looking upon the much greater land? You see this field? And now they're expanding that way. Drinking, saying, let's go ahead and expand the land. The pleasures of what? A prophet, right?
Let's go together with the help of the military of Hacendados and with American backing.
An American backing. Who was in power at this time? Yeah, I think I've been proving it. So let's continue. It wasn't just the white man, guys.
The unrest was there because of the nature-led economy of the society of that time. Rural Mexico was poor. The hacienda system was a tragedy for Mexico.
It was. It was a heavy tragedy for our people. It was the worst thing that could have happened, because they made it seem as if it was very attractive and, just the way to go. And quite frankly, it was not. Okay. Let me start it here.
The haciendas were large estates. Some originated from Spanish land grants, while others were made up of lands the owners had bought or stolen. They were nearly totally self-sufficient enterprises that up until the revolution functioned in a semi-feudal system. The haciendas generated much of the wealth of the country, but most of it stayed in the hands of a few. The owner, called an hacendado, had nearly total power over the peones, the people who worked the land. The southern state of Morelos was home to some of the richest haciendas in all of Mexico. Many of them were sugar plantations, long known for horrendous conditions. After centuries of abuse, Morelos was ripe for a rebellion.
Un día un cocoyoc, ahí en esa calle donde vivo, cuando anda un español, niño, ¿qué hace? Como así con ese parado orgulloso, ¿qué hace, niño? El niño se agacha, usted lo ve, señor, porque ya sabía que la opresión era grande. Por eso, los que nos lanzamos a la revolución en defensa de la patria, no fue una valentía, un orgullo, una necesidad.
Oppression makes a wise man mad.
Que querían que trabajáramos a punta de cierdonazos por 25 centavos, de la amaneciendo hasta el sol. Andaban los alcapaces en las calles.
Sacapataces, they call them formants, right? But it's not technically formants. Exodus 1, verse 11. So they set slave masters over them to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pythons, and Ramesses. Let me read King James, Exodus 1:11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Python and Ramesses. That's what zapatas means, this guy right here.
Andaban los alcapaces en las
Alcapataces, the taskmasters.
calles, que no hubiera ninguno en su casa sentado ni acostado, menos, y lo bien, vamos para afuera, ni permiso pedían los alcapaces. A punta de chicotazo, vamos a cargarse la calle, a cortar calle, por 25 centavitos. Centavitos, no pesos, como ahora. ¿Y quién iba a aguantar eso? Dígame, ¿quién va a aguantar eso?
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. I have to read it, guys. For oppression makes a wise one mad, and a bribe destroys the heart. 25 centavos was nothing, guys. If you guys lived in over there, they terminated that. But there was a time where I remember where we had, pesos and then centavos, the lowest of the lowest. Not even 1 peso a day. He needed 100 centavos to make 1 peso. That's like negative. It literally, if you look at mathematics, it's literally like -1 or -100, man. It's just so sad, bro.
Luego resultó esa la revolución.
And that's exactly what happened. Let me go back to the Bible, man. You guys need to start reading, guys. We have all the answers in our book, not some Phoenician, our book. And we're taking it back. Thus saith the Lord. Psalms 38, verse 11, and it reads, my loved ones and my friends stand back from my plague, and my neighbors stand far away. And those seeking my life lay a snare, and those seeking my evil have spoken of destruction and utter deceit all day long. Why am I reading this? Why am I reading this? Remember, guys, keep in mind, this guy ruled from 1876 to 1811, okay? Now, I find this very ironic. Remember the whole 1808 to 1865 movement from the so-called Phoenicians? Or not so-called, the Phoenicians, right? That they were in slavery. You guys realize in 1869 was when it was actually, they started drilling oil in Mexico for petroleum. And it was this guy that did it. Right? But check this out. between 1521 and 1821, ranchers were telling these people, "Hey, man, we're running into tar, and our animals are dying." Okay. In 1846, they were already looking to mine in Russia. This guy here, he opens up a lot of them all over the continent of Mexico, right? But I find it so funny. This colonial period of when reports ranchers having cattle lost. And then in 1821, right, between 1521 and 1821, then all of a sudden in 1823, James Monroe articulated the Monroe Doctrine, which was a very shady way of saying, hey, this law will protect us all, so foreign invaders don't come in. But then that law also stipulated in the small print, if you owe them money and you bring issues to our continent, then we would have to overrule you. That's exactly what it actually did. Because in 1850 is when it was actually officially coined, I guess, in a sense, right? And then if you look at the Mexican secession, it was in when? In 1848. The war started in 1846 through 1848. You know, there were white and black people fighting us. So as you can see, the expansion has a purpose. The Mexican War began in what? Oh, and by the way, we had independence. It became independent in 1821. And 2 years later, the Monroe Doctrine. And they had already been told that there was tar pits. I mean, look, man, if you look at this, okay, look what we've been through. And it hasn't stopped. All right, when the Spaniards came and they were black and white. Oh, what a coincidence. They put a black guy there. See, man, I swear. Independence, right? 1835, 1836, 1839, 1848, 1860, 1867, the French War, 1820, 1829. This was actually the period where we were starting to tell the so-called white people right here. See, it's funny because in 1917, they implement these fumigation like gas baths, right, to our people. But at the same time, there was already a president, I cannot remember his name. He was already trying to implement law which would stop the white man from taking massive gains of the petroleum, which they were not investing in Mexico. I wonder why. So they take it out on the people, right? Is that what y'all did? And guess who's in power at that time? Who's in power? Who has politicians? The black man and the white man. French colonization. You see this here? You Creoles, so-called Creoles, right? You people that are very proud of your Creolish, y'all are French. Means you're Phoenicians. So you can look as white as you want or look like we are people, but a lot of you guys are not our people. You're Phoenicians. This goes out to you, Chris. You know who I'm talking about. You're so proud of your what do you call it? Creole blood, right? Yeah, man. You're taking that person down with you. She may be our people. Andrew Jackson, removal of the Indians, 1830. And you guys were expanding. Black people are expanding from the East Coast. All of a sudden, oh, supposedly they're being enslaved. Really? What a coincidence. Why don't you keep them up north? First meeting, we saw that already. If you look at all the stuff that we've been through, right? And the secession and all of these things, literally, I don't see the similarity. I really don't. If you look at gas baths from 1917 to 1964, the fumigation, all of those things were practiced up until 1963, 1964. Matter of fact, the Nazis even praised America, the so-called white man and the black man, because it was you guys that both did this work, for what you did. And you know, about 90% of our people, right, in between 1900, like early 1900, 10 or 15% maybe, were literate. 90 to 85% couldn't read or write. And we didn't have the Bible. And just this out, only on 1950, we actually started seeing a lot of increase in literacy. About 40% of the people were actually being able to read at that time now. Yeah. Okay. A lot of these things were going on. In 1929, 1936, you guys forget about this here in America? These guys have politicians in their table. Black people have politicians, but instead, what they decide to get us out of there, and then you see more black people coming into California, and then you got some black person over there saying that they're going to sue the white man because they took this land. They took his land supposedly. Well, you know whose land that was, dummy? You guys, I'm sorry, man. You guys are a joke. Operation Wetback. You guys forget that? They didn't say Operation Negro. Operation Wetback. You guys were you guys had politicians. Even that guy said it. In 1860 or 1850, you guys politicians way before, but I'm going to go by what you're saying. In 1850, 1860, you were getting politicians. I didn't see you guys fighting for our rights. You guys weren't saying we're the same people then. 1 million people were getting kicked out. Massive people were getting lynched from 1860, 1870 to all the way through 1810, 1820. Our people. Was that being told? Don't forget, since 1492, we haven't had the Bible. You guys need to read that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post a link on Facebook when it's today or tomorrow. You guys will see the link that shows the Lutherans criticizing the Europeans. That supposedly we're not authorized to have the Bible. We can't be printed. We can't print it. But what about the Monroe Doctrine? What the hell was the Monroe Doctrine about? I thought that was to protect us, but yet we were not allowed to have the Bible printed. Those are facts. And when it was available, 1831, 1833, the one that was, a few, were more than $200, which is like $8,000 now, 25 volume set. What damn peon's going to be able to carry that around? They don't even have a house. You saw how they were whooping their butts every time just to get up and work. Who the hell had energy to read, let alone Latin?
Being left behind.
Pues van a producir muchos latinos, van a producir.
Yeah, you know what, Salome? Yeah, my grandfather on my mom's side, because I didn't meet my father on my dad's side. He got shot when my dad was 1 year old at a cantina or in front. Her dad, my grandpa, he used to travel like maybe 2 hours every morning, get up early, like 3, and then go up to the city close to Guadalajara, because that's where I was born. And they were picking corn and all kinds of fruits. So this is recent. You know what I'm saying? Like in 1920, 1910, 1930, this is like recent. Not too far fetched. Like you would think, oh, okay, these are like from 1700. Nah, man, our struggle has not stopped. That's what I'm saying. Let me continue.
Muchos hombres libres que no están dispuestos a ser peones de hacienda, y al momento que se den la revolución, muchos de los que se integran a los grupos revolucionarios son esos.
Yeah, hey, listen, bro. I have family members that are not, like legal, and at any moment they, you know what I mean. They're petitioning, they're asking for permission for residency, but they're fearful, man, because they've had neighbors where ICE came in and took the parents and left the children alone in the house. Man, come on, bro. Don't try to say we're the same people at the same time. When we know how media works, we know how the enemy functions. We know these psychological attacks that principalities and powers is what we're dealing with. Let's not fall for this again. We already went through it once. Let's be now prudent people. All I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, you need to study the scriptures and study your history, and don't let foreigners tell us who we are according to the Bible. We are the Hebrews. Now you just got to study and pick up the book.
Que fueron despojados, o los hijos de esos que fueron despojados.
In the late Porfiriato, Americans had huge stakes in Mexico. The beginnings of petroleum, mining especially. The railroads were built by Americans. Many Americans owned land in Mexico. These were economic interests, and the Americans wanted to protect these interests.
Well, you know where I'm going. You that are studying the scriptures and really take it to their heart that this is our book. Deuteronomy You know where I'm going. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Where are you at? Verse 33. A people whom you have not known, eat the fruit of your land and all your labors, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed all the days. See that? Yahweh will bring you and the sovereign whom you set over you to a nation which neither you and your fathers have known. We didn't know these guys. Do we know them? Verse 38, you take much seed out of the field, but gather little in, for the locusts consume it. You plant vineyards and shall labor, but you neither drink of the wine nor gather, for the worms eats it.
American investments in Mexico were enormous in the early part of the 20th century. Some authorities say they were greater in value than all of the investments in property owned by Mexicans in Mexico.
While this close relationship with the U.S. benefits the científicos, Diaz is keenly aware that it places Mexico in a precarious and potentially dangerous position.
So as you can see, you have people that didn't give a damn about our well-being. Ezekiel 25:25. Thus say the Master Yahweh, because the Philistines have acted in vengeance and took extreme vengeance and scorns in their being to destroy with lasting enmity. Okay? Therefore, thus say Yahweh, see, I am stretching out my hand against the Philistines, and I shall cut off the Cherethites and destroy the remnant of the seacoast, and execute great vengeance on them with raging reproof, and they shall know that I am Yahweh when I lay my vengeance upon them. I read this chapter because it's going to be applying to the so-called black man and black woman of Phoenician and the so-called white man. Okay? Where are you at? I have it with me. Obadiah 1:3. The pride of your heart have deceived thee, you who dwell in the cliffs of the rock, whose dwelling is high, who say in your heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Thou you rise as the eagle, and though you set your nest among the stars, you mean them, from there I shall bring you down, declares Yahweh. Because it was technically the so-called black man and black woman that was really over here initially. The white man needed their power. The white man couldn't have done it themselves. So this is a twofold situation that we're looking at, guys. And I'm not making this stuff up. The Bible speaks for itself. Watch this. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. They say it themselves. This is why they're here. This is why they're here. And this is why now all of a sudden they care to know or care to say that we are the same people. Really? Watch what he says. This is from a analytical and chronological table of the history of Ireland. The Phoenicians ran that place, and they went there because of this. Watch what it says. At how early a period this remarkable period people began to spread themselves over the globe. The inscription legible for many ages, and the two pillars near the front of Maggie. And it says, "We fly from the face of Joshua the robber, bore striking testimony." This is from Phoenician Ireland. Watch what he reads. I'll start here. Let's see. But the name of the city with Militum itself would appear to have been given by its Phoenicians from Milit to escape or to liberate it, to escape or to be liberated, which accords with the history of the first tribe of the Canaanites who fled before the face of Joshua, the Israelite. The Israelite. Now let's go to here real quick again. All right. Watch what it says in this page here. I think it's this page. Oh, this is funny. Well, look what it says here. The proximity of the borders of Europe and Africa and the evidence of the African phenotype among Southern Europeans led Napoleon to remark that Africa begins at Pyrenees. He said it. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something real quick because I'm about to finish up. Let me see if I can find it. It goes to show, man, when you look at doctrine for what it is, if it's solid, it stands ground, and it doesn't depend on one scripture or color scriptures. It really is the Bible itself. You cannot knock the Bible if it's a solid and true doctrine. Watch this, guys. Remember that whole thing that he says, "Oh yeah, we were enslaved and we ruled Europe, and we ruled Europe, and then they were scattered in Africa." Okay, watch what it says here. This is what they say, that they ruled Europe and then they went to Africa, right? And they go into verse 49 and say, "Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose language you shall not understand." Look what this guy said, an African person. The fact that the Africans from the north have been intruding into southern Europe from the very early time should not come as a great surprise, for the straits that separate the two continents can be crossed by the simplest boats in the matter of hours. It's a skip and a hop, man. Europe is literally like skipping a hop to Africa. How in the hell are you using verse 49? Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth. From far. It's not on a boat ride. Oh, simple boats. Meaning I could even get an inflatable boat and probably make it across. As swift as the eagle flies, that nation whose language I shall not understand. You guys spoke English, Spanish, Dutch, German, French, Russian, Prussian, what else? This Czechoslovakian. Come on, guys. Really? Let me share you guys some prophecy real quick. You guys think I'm full of it? Share this to your people, because what's coming to you, I pray the Lord that what's coming to you is done to you 3 times, 4 times, 15 times worse than what y'all did to our people. And I mean that with every sense of the word. It's called righteous hate. Y'all say that to the white man. I already know what the white man did. And you know what? At least they don't hide from it. You know what I'm saying? Like Trump, at least he's admitting it. Like you guys, hey, at least he's admitting it. Yeah. And you guys never admitted any of this. You guys own slaves too. Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Watch what it says. Look among the nations and see, he's telling us, and be amazed. Be amazed, he says it with an exclamation point. For a work is being wrought in your days. For a work is being wrought in your days. You hear that? For a work is being wrought in your days. Let me repeat that again. If not, I'm going to go back to this book. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back to this book. Okay? Give me a second here. Where are you? I'm going to pause that real quick. Hold on. Because I don't want to make them lose this. Give me a second, guys. My bad. Hold on. I'll make it quick. Come on. All right, let me show you guys something real quick, all right? This is from my Facebook page, and whoever has me or knows me, you guys can find me. I'm always posting everything I find on my page, all right? I disclose everything. I don't hide anything. And by the way, for you that know my channel, right, you guys know that on Saturday, my computer just went nuts. So on Friday night, my computer went nuts, okay? So I couldn't use it anymore. So Saturday morning, I was literally like bouncing around how to make it work. I use my son's laptop. So I'm limited with my links. I have a new computer now, and all praises to the Most High that it's much better and there's more I can do, but I have to transfer my links. What I'm saying is this. That guy, Diodorus Siculus, I've showed you guys one of my channels. I'll see if I could reference it today so then you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I actually read the link and show you that they knew this. This is from the Jew, a Negro, their book, which they present to us, and it reads: "Did the Negroes know of America?" This goes for you, the what's his name, Borasta. Watch it.
Let's see. Diodorus Siculus tells us that the Phoenicians in early times sailed beyond Hercules Pillars along the African coast, and there, meeting with storm and tempest, were carried to the remotest part of the ocean. And after many days, came to a vast island at a great distance from Libya, and lying very far west, the Phoenicians, and lying very far west. Then it says, the Phoenicians informed the Carthaginians of this place. The Carthaginians prohibited other nations from settling in it, they reserving it for themselves as a place of retirement if they should ever be driven from their native soil, which is why I had read earlier regarding how Canaanites always flee from Joshua. They hate Joshua, meaning they hate our people. All right. Now, Diodorus Siculus, in his link, where he basically mentions all kinds of historical facts, mentions how they, Phoenicians, had already seen us from a distance, which then references this book here that I have, because they said the same exact thing in his link. And they were saying of how great and wonderful the city that they had seen. I don't know why it's so small here. The city that they had seen, and how they were amazed that aqueducts and sweet water and the inhabitants there, that you could see why they were living and lived so healthy, because the water was so delicious and blah, blah, blah. And he's really getting into detail with that, right? So then you actually find out that, yeah, you're right. You guys did travel these areas, but you weren't here first. Then you would go against the scripture. Then that means that you don't believe in the Bible. So whichever way you want to slice it, either way, man, you either believe it or you don't. It's like either you're pregnant or you're not. You're not half pregnant. All right. So let me go back to I can't find the page, but anyways, you guys who.
All right, we're almost gonna finish, fam. Let me read this to you, by the way. This is a quick side point, and I'm actually here. It's Friday the 23rd, 9:30 my time. By the way, today is the 7th-day rest, so Lord willing, you guys are having a well-rested 7th-day rest. As you know, I keep the lunar Sabbath, so we fall on this month, Friday and Saturday, so-called Friday and Saturday. This is from a book called Dogs of Conquest. I showed you guys this before. Very interesting book. Check this out, page 124. Look what it says. The Mastiffs, according to the Inca chronicler, was the last type of dog to be introduced into Peru. And he claimed it was used primarily as a watchdog. He tells of how Antonio de Ribera in 1560 brought 100 olive plants in a vat from Sevilla and replanted the 3 that survived the journey in the vineyard near Lima. These prized plants, pay attention, were guarded day and night by 100 Negroes and 30 dogs, so that not even a leaf should be removed and planted elsewhere. It says, nevertheless, in spite of this caution, one of the 3 plants were spirited away in the night and carried to Chile, 600 leagues in from Lima. Here it flourished for more than 300 years, and every sprig taken from it, regardless of how small, developed into a fine tree. At length, however, because of the many letters of excommunication made against the thieves, the tree was secretly returned and placed in the same self spot from which it had been removed. Garcilaso suggested that the thefts had resulted from the fact that the Negroes had been bribed, and he hinted that the guardian dogs had not been sufficiently alert. Now you're gonna find out in one of my future classes about Narvaez, which was a black conquistador, and he used a well-known mastiff to destroy our gente. I mean, when you see the actual when I get through the book, you're gonna find out how heavy this was. A lot of these dogs, they were used in conquest, are not talked about. But you now know that black conquistadors and white conquistadors both used animals, beasts, to feed our children and attack the men and the women. That y'all see, you got to pay the piper, man. You guys owe some explanation. Let's go. We're almost done.
You know me, obviously you're welcome to Emmanuel Israel. All right, I have the same logo as here. All right. That's my logo.
By the way, that was my name before. All right, I don't go by that name anymore, as you guys know now. So this was one of my first videos. It's dated October 2022. So I've been on this topic for quite some time. Some people are barely touching on it, and apparently, Perry, you got like 100,000 subscribers. YouTube, it's so amazing. All right, let's continue.
Okay, so if you guys find me, go ahead and link up. I provide everything for y'all. I even show you guys like my so-called DNA. If everybody's so hyped up about it, okay, fine. Just so you can see that I'm not. The Bible speaks who I am, and even the so-called white man says who I am. All right, but all praises to the Most High that at least He's given me the honor of even having an opportunity to forgive me for all the crap I did, man. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's nothing more, nothing less than just that. Letting go of all the crap and all who you used to be. So then hope, Lord willing, you can make it into the kingdom, because this flesh ain't going to make it. And that disciplined spirit, if you don't do it, it ain't going to make it either. Any bitterness in you, you ain't going to make it.
I don't want to, I got to trim this time. Here it goes, the golden age. All right, so watch this. Habakkuk 1:5. Look among the nations and see and be amazed. Be amazed, for a work is being wrought in your days. Okay? What's he talking about? A work is being wrought in your days. This is what he's talking about right here, okay? See, this was actually prophesied in about 600 BC, right? About 600 BC. This statement was made by another man in 700 AD. And now we see it again 1,300 years exactly later. 1,300 years from 600 BC to 700 AD is 1,300 years. 700 AD to 2022 or 2020, right? Or 2022 is basically 1,300 years. Watch what it says. Look among the nations and see, be amazed, be amazed, for a work is being wrought in your days, which you would not believe if it were told. Meaning he told us that, right? That this was going to happen. Verse 8, their horses shall be swifter than leopards and more fierce than an evening wolf. And their horsemen shall charge ahead, and their horsemen come from afar. They fly as an eagle rushing to eat. Remember, their horse shall be swifter than leopards and more fierce than an evening wolf. This is from a statement of an African who had sympathy or empathy for the white man, because the Africans just completely slaughtered them. Here's what he said. The reins of the Moors or horses were as fire, their faces black as pitch, like the black Jesus, their eyes shone like burning candles, like their red eyes, black Jesus, red eyes, right? Their horses were swift as leopards. What? And their riders fiercer than a wolf in the sheepfold at night. The noble gods, remember, they took the name from them, were broken in an hour, quicker than tongue can tell, oh, luckless Spain. Are they not trying to do that now? Are they not trying to say that they're the Israelites? And now they're not trying to say that they're the aboriginals? This is their spirit. Once again, we see it. And they shall fly as the eagle. All right, so let's see. Check this out. On the same book, page 135. Again, this is from the Dogs of Conquest, okay? It says here, in the last years of 16th century, Lima was blessed with a saintly man named Martín de Porres, or Porras. Born in that city in 1579, he was the son of Juan de Porres, a Spanish nobleman, and a freed Negro woman, Ana Velázquez. At the age of 15, the mulatto responded to a strong religious experience by entering the Dominican monastery of Rosary. We were told that Christianity was very new to these people, yet we find them very engulfed and involved in Christianity for a long time now. There's absolutely, or at least help me understand, that the Bible says, if you say you're the people of the book, excuse me, Ellie, please be quiet. The scriptures say clearly that you will be subjugated, you would be in punishment, and you would be conquered by a nation that you nor your fathers have known. Okay?
that you would be conquered by a nation that you nor your fathers have known, and that you would be practicing religions that you've never heard before. But yet we find that there were such a thing as black popes. Christianity is not new to the Negro. It cannot be both. Cannot be both. Let's continue. We're almost done. What is that? And they shall fly as the eagle. This guy. Sorry, his name again is Martin de Porras. The Beato, blessed Martin de Porras or Porres. Apparently, this guy was like he cared about animals. That's, I guess, what they say about this dude. Wow. Yeah, sure. While you educate us with, remember, all they taught us was Ave Maria, Padre Nuestro, Diez Mandamientos, Credo, y el Rosario. That's all we were taught by these people. We also have a book called the Maya Conquistadors, and it talks about these 21 black padres hated us, constantly seeing that it wasn't just a gringo involved in the conquering of these lands. You guys got to rethink again on everything you've been taught. Time to wake up, man. Time to kind of. I felt bad for the white man because these guys just slaughtered them. I wonder what they did. Yahweh, verse 40, Deuteronomy 28:49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Is this not the eagle? Is this not the eagle? Is that not the eagle? Is that not the eagle? Is this wicked ass man not the eagle? A nation whose language you shall not understand, a fierce nation which shall not show no regard for the elder, no show favor to the young. Did they not pass that law? Sequetus per term, whatever, in 1660, an African king? Did he not allow that law to rape our women and enslave our children, even enslave their own children, for that matter? Did they not do that? Was that not done? Got one more to see, and that's it.
El crecimiento y la afirmación.
Wait. Hold up. Watch this. This is a book I got, Black Conquistadors, the story of the first black men in America. Chaos when the 600-man Narvaez expedition invades 16th century Florida. And y'all know, we talked about this, and some of you brothers and sisters about Narvaez, right? Watch this. Oh, let's see. Hold up. That was from my other. And see, that's the thing about, the Most High, how he works. This new computer allows me now to work on thumbnails. See, man, the Most High has magic, man. I'm telling you, I wasn't sweating it. It was stressful just because I lost a lot of my information, a lot of my classes for years since 2018. But it's all good, man. I have it all in my mind. Look at what it says here. June 17th, 1527, 5 creaking ships carrying 600 inexperienced soldiers under the command of ruthless, one-eyed Pánfilo de Narvaez slipped out of the Spanish port of Sanlúcar. A grand and passionate conquest is about to begin. Destination, Florida. Desire, gold, lots of it. Destiny, the deadliest nightmare of their lives. The impenetrable alligator infested swamps of the coast of Florida cut off the civilized world. They began to encounter flipped-tipped arrows, disease, hunger, and Narvaez. Their failure, you see that. Look at here. All right, let's continue. So check this out. Same book, Dogs of Conquest, page 98. It's talking about Narvaez. It says, Pánfilo de Narvaez had been commissioned to explore Florida in 1526, the same year Guzman had gone to Panuco and Montejo to Yucatan. Narvaez's experience in the New World had begun at the close of the 15th century in Española. He accompanied Juan de Esquivel to Jamaica and then joined Diego Velázquez in Cuba, subjugating the natives by burning their villages while unleashing his dogs on men, women, and children. This is a black conquistador, Narvaez. He returned to Spain to receive his commission and landed at last in Florida in April 1528, accompanied by dogs fully capable of destroying Indians.
These dogs probably came from the state of Vasco Porcayo de Figueroa, whom Narvaez had known in Cuba. Cabeza served on his expedition as treasurer and provost marshal. Second paragraph. Disembarking his men, Narvaez, against the advice of Cabeza, sent all ships back to Cuba to supplies and began long marching inland. In the province of Apalache, the Inca Garcilaso de la Vega reports Narvaez fought and defeated a race of exceedingly large Indians. He made peace with their certain chieftain, the cacique Irihigua, who then, for no apparent reason, cut off Irihigua's nose and permitted dogs to attack and devour the chieftain's mother. You understand what that guy did, right? It says Narvaez departed, leaving an outraged Irihigua behind. Several days later, the captain of one of his ships, returning to Cuba, sailed into Tampa Bay, where Irihigua captured 4 of his crews. Burning for revenge, Irihigua forced his captors to run naked back and forth across his marketplace while Indian warriors entertained the onlookers by shooting at the helpless Spaniards with arrows. This is nothing new under the sun, family. This Narvaez cat, it says a dog had helped arouse his turmoil in Appalachia, but soon the dogs of Narvaez expedition, like the horses, finished their days in the tortured stomachs of their masters. At last, Narvaez sailed with the remnant of the Armada into shipwreck and oblivion, and on and on and on. I'm gonna bring this book out more often. It's a heavy book, man. It's a heavy book. We're almost done.
Over here, you see that here? I just got the book. I'm gonna start reading it. Look at this. Barrel Girl, the compassionate Teobagan Indian girl who thinks her only problem is keeping her fishermen out of the Manchi, the she-man hut late at night. Then 600 gold-hungry Spaniards land on her village shore, and she is caught in a whirlwind adventure as she is forced to guide them around Tampa Bay to the horror that awaits the other side. Look, Estebancico, a slave as a Spanish captain about to make the biggest mistake of his life in dark jungle of the swamps. The first black man in America will stop at nothing until he becomes el conquistador negro, the black conquistador. Listen, guys,
at nothing.
These things here are no joke. They're no joke. Let's continue. Let's go.
Si vemos al porfiriato desde el punto de vista del crecimiento y la afirmación de una economía mexicana, de una clase emergente, de una cultura, vamos a ver un espectáculo. Si lo vemos desde el punto de vista de la opresión de los indígenas, de los campesinos mexicanos, los trabajadores urbanos, en que esto se basaba, vamos a ver otra visión. Si combinamos las dos visiones, lo que nos va a aparecer en el medio es una gran injusticia. Esto es el porfiriato.
And that's pretty much like what I had in mind the whole entire time. Now let me show y'all something real quick. Okay. Let's see. Where's the class at? Where's the class? Hey guys, I gotta let my dog out. So guys, give me a quick second, okay? Give me a quick second. I'm gonna put you on mute. Hold up. Let me see if I can play some music.
All right, so let me kind of fast forward this real quick, and we should be all set. Well, hold on a second. Let me go here. I'm just gonna call it.
What I'm gonna do is
as you guys know, it is seventh day rest. Hope you guys really enjoy your seventh day rest, man. I look forward to this day. I don't know, I really like to rest on this day. You know what I'm saying? Like away from this whole society or anger or bales or I just focus on today. Pick up the scriptures and go through it with my family. Yeah, it's been quite a week. Anyhow, hope you all enjoyed the edification Hope you enjoyed the show. It's an inside joke, fam. Actually, do the work. You brothers that are new to this channel, thank you for being here, bro. As always, man. Joshua Israel, Mighty Guide, what's up, my brother, man? AI Red Dog, something like that. Who else was Joe Ray? What up, my brother? Yak, what's going on, man? Let's see what else. Rob, yeah, and well, Yasharala, man, appreciate you guys. Okay. So tomorrow I will be doing a live. It's called "My Sheep Hear My Voice." I was supposed to do that about a week ago, but things came up. I'm looking forward to that class. I think you guys are gonna like it. Okay. So anyhow, y'all have a good night, and it's only one song. The wording for you guys, because a lot of times we don't listen to the wording, and I think it's a proper written scriptures. I mean scriptures. It's very similar to brotherhood, man. So as the song plays, I'm gonna show you guys, like, so you could read it. Hopefully y'all can see that. As the song plays, I want y'all to read it in Spanish, okay? This is a Spanglish channel, so if y'all new to my channel, I speak Spanish and I speak English. So I do Spanish classes. I would do more, but a lot of people aren't really asking for them. Here, let me play this right here. Let me read this for you, Meshiacha. Let me read this for you, bro. Honestly, never underestimate our people playing our secular roles, but rest assured we have 530 centuries of invasion, occupation, independence, revolution, reform. Our spirit is not easily roused. Hey, not only that, man, we are fighters to the core, because that shows you we're fighters spiritually, bro. Honestly. Anyways, love you, brethren, man. You know me, bro. I only do these channels for y'all, because if I don't do them, I don't stay sober. So I need y'all as much as you probably need me, but I feel like I need y'all more, okay? Let's see. When we move, act, not talk much like, yeah, hey, this is why I'm trying to say. I'm trying to reach out to these brethrens out here, like the dude from Maravilla, man. I'm trying to reach out to him because our people have order, but in wicked ways. Like when it comes to the cartel, we got order. When it comes to the pinta, we got order. When it comes to the hood, we got order. When it comes to us taking care of our neighborhoods, where we don't hurt our families, we got order. But yet we can't do it with the Bible. Now it's time to do it with the Bible. And our people from up north here in America, the native Indians, are reaching out to us. You brethren, we are the same people. Y'all need to start reaching out to them. You see them? Say hi. Say hi. Say shalom. Say whatever, man. This is fam time. Now it's time to gather together. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourself together, O nation not desired. All right? Here, I got this for you, man. All praises to the Most High. I'm going to have a class later on today. It'll be shorter. But unless I got something going on, because I am going to be busy today, I'll do my best to do it. It's going to be a short class. But anyways, here's what I got. All right, shalom, family.
Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo, Quieren pensar, sin ni siquiera estar al mando. Tanta publicidad subliminal te está matando. Les cuesta decidir por sí mismos cuál es su mando. Publican sonrisas con el corazón llorando. Quieren brillar, pero sin tener que valerse de tener sus ideas propias. Veo a todos igual, solo son la réplica de la imitación de una triste copia. Obedece, la vida es un suspiro y envejeces. Te dejas distraer por estupideces y pierdes el eje. Te duele por dentro, entonces te creces, pero aceptas mucho menos de lo que mereces. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar y solo así podrás brillar. Conserva tu juicio y tu intuición, más activos que el que lucha por lo suyo y no se rinde. Yo ya sé bien cuál es mi misión, y es contarte que el mal por su propio pie pronto se extingue. Ven, no caigas bajo su control, pues por la televisión es normal que mal lo pinte. Tú mantente firme en conexión con la fuente de creación, vivirá siempre de fin de. Dios abre los ojos, dime lo que ves. A tus propios hijos matándose por billetes. Niños por cada 2 por 3. Pa' unos es bendición, con otros por su causa pequen. Y yo que intento ser un ser crístico, voy bendiciendo hasta los diablos. Piensan que es cierto el mensaje típico. Dicen que invento lo del engaño. Y mientras lucho contra mis errores, demonios escucho, me ofrecen soluciones. Pero sé que hay un ángel que quiere que mejore. Me dice haz un trabajo interno antes de que lo ignores. Antes que otra vez llores y se llenen los mares de pena y de dolores, ya que en mi mente no caben. La paz no va en un sobre, somos algo importante. Nunca te revelaste y por eso no lo sabes. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar, y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar, y solo así podrás brillar. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido. Oh. Me desperté tan cansado, me sentía mal herido de todo lo que he pasado. No me quita lo aprendido, por dentro me he perdonado, pero casi no me olvido, no. Oh. Todos repiten lo que dice el referente. Discursos vacíos lejos de ser coherentes. De lo que no sabes será mejor que no inventes. Investigues y no te dejes lavar la mente. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar, y solo así podrás brillar. ¿Y quién te ha dicho a ti que no puedes pensar sobre lo que le di, sobre cómo actuar? Lucha por ser feliz sin a nadie dañar, y solo así podrás brillar. Quiero pensar, pero no puedo, no. El ruido en la ciudad está consumiendo, wow.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre.